This is honestly a really cool shot, honestly, for an epilogue chapter. And it's just plain funny just to see just a little girl just holding a wine glass, just drinking it. Honestly, it's still funny. It was still funny when it was first brought up in the seventh chapter, and it's still funny now. But maybe she cut back on that a tiny bit since she's staying in this world. Honestly, oh boy, oh boy, oh. Well, hello everyone! My name is Mitz, and here we are back at Higurashi When They Cry for the Rei epilogue chapter. I know there's actually like 3 separate arcs actually connected all into this one single installment, and I'm down to go through. I guess I'm assuming it's actually the very first, or the very least the dice killing chapter, which is Saikoroshi, I believe this top of my head is the right name for it. I'm down to go through the other chapters, but at the top of my head, I'm more than fine with just going through just the dice killing chapter. If every one of you wants to see me go through the other 2 chapters, and just leave a comment down below, and I'll go through it. But I'm perfectly just fine just going through Saikoroshi. Then I'm taking a small break before preparing to go through getting things together and cobbling together for both Human Echo and Echo, which that's a whole another story entirely. Especially since I'm in my entire 10-hour like finale video as well. Then I talk about those, which if you haven't seen the entirety of that, I don't quite blame you, honestly. I don't think I'll ever make a video as long as that ever again. Honestly, I'm planning to cut back on the very long hour sessions when going through Mineko. Probably go back to how it used to be in the when I did the question arcs. Oh boy, but I'll talk about that later because we're here to see how this all ends, honestly. Oh, yep, wait, what? Saikoroshi, that's the worst option. How could you? How could you? I heard many people say that's I guess the true, I guess, ending for Higurashi. It's like primarily the yeah, just the true epilogue chapter, honestly. I don't know if I'll go through these two. Oh, they actually have little things for them. This is a tale of Fruity Rika reaching the summer of 1983. Her power allows her to choose one of many worlds, but is this the world truly the best one for her? Oh. The difficulty here is malicious. For all you dear connoisseurs, refer it that way. Oh, wait, so that's what that's gonna... that's actually an intriguing thing to think about. Yeah, I remember bringing that up before, too. Like, the idea that like the ending of the last installment, just it'd be better if like none of this like stuff happened and everyone like lived in peaceful lives, honestly, and even Takana didn't like do those like serial killings or had a sort of indirect handling with them the Oyashiro-sama's curse every single year. Then if none of that happened, and like for example Sadako and Rika has their parents and all that, would that be more would be the best world for her to go through? Or would it be better to like, go back to how the last installment ended? Would that be better for Rika to continue along with? Did she really always had to go back to just these exact same set of circumstances with the curse happening every single year, but the fifth and final year being the one that can be massively different? Did it always be that way? I'm actually curious how the story will go through that. And I won't read through those other 2 unless I go through them, but let's just go through this one then right here. That's still that little baby laughter thing is back. Bread rained down from the heavens. Some lamented that it was not meat. Meat rained down from the heavens. Some lamented that they preferred bread. God descended up down from the heavens. Until I know what will make all happy, water shall rain down. Hmm. This is a work of fiction. Any resemblance of to actual person to organization entirely coincidental. Yeah. Okay, that poem actually just from the combination of just that like scenario synopsis, honestly, that is that actually seems very poignant. Huh. The cicadas chorus had been growing increasingly lively. The strange weather during that never-ending June had been hot enough to make us feel like summer had come early. But even so, it was still only June. Is it like late June though, in the 30s or like late 20s days? Honestly, once we got closer to summer in July, the season graced us with even more summery weather. Today, to fill my dream, we all went to play the swimming pool. Okay, this is literally just directly afterwards. Because I wonder if they actually will showcase a lot, but probably not. Them Satoshi getting out of the, the hospital, interacting with Sadako and Shion. Honestly, I have a feeling they won't do that, which it's unfortunate, but still, I can dream. The dream might have seemed humble at first, but I didn't have to look back in the 100 years journey it took to achieve anymore. Still, I decided I shouldn't forget about it. Exactly. For many people, this is a perfectly ordinary day, but for me, it had taken so many years of wandering just to get here that it made me feel faint. And I think still thinking about it, that you haven't really hinted to anyone in this group that you've been through this several times before. You kind of just only hinted that you had a lot of know-how, that someone's out to kill you, and they didn't ask any questions further than that because they trusted you. And I remembering it made this seemingly average, regular life filled me with such profound happiness. Wow! Not bringing a camera today must be Mion Sonozaki's greatest failure. You're supposed to make happy memories here. I don't need a camera. I burned this into my memory already. Well, memory is not entirely infallible, but maybe yours is, honestly. I close my eyelids, I can still see how cute Keiichi-kun looks. Hoshi. God damn it. Don't look at them, don't! It's her brain, she can do whatever she wants with it. I'll file your eyelids off with your face! I'm more curious to how you even be able to do that. That's what you get for forgetting to bring your swimsuit to the pool. And the whole ruckus about you putting on those shady swim trunks too. For being the end, you reap what you sow. Keiichi, you should thank me. If she hadn't brought those swans underpants, your swan would have been swinging all over. Okay. Napa, Hoshi. I'm more curious why you decided to bring more. Boy, was that a joy to behold. What? I didn't plan anything specific for today, and just when I was thinking we'd play some nice, quiet pool games. Well, with this group, it would be strange if something didn't happen. I swear if a comet comes down from the sky. No, that's definitely wrong. If you hadn't planned anything, you wouldn't have bothered bringing those embarrassing swan underpants here in the first place. Oh, underpants. I thought you said those swimsuits. You were scheming, looking for some excuse to get me to wear them. I'm sure of it. That's called manipulation. Oh, but today was really fun, so I'm totally satisfied I am. Okay, it's already over. Okay, we don't have to deal with that right now. It certainly was fun. On that point, I quite agree. Sadako smiled at me, looking for my agreement. So I sent her back just as brilliant a smile, expressing just how much fun all the romping about today had been. Again, it must actually feel very surreal for Rika after hundreds of solids of years, honestly, to then be free from it all, and then everything is now back to how usually was before in a solid entire week, then everything goes completely wrong. I think I remember just reading like one short fanfic discussing a tiny bit about Rika actually having a bit of PTSD from it, which yeah, after all that happened, honestly, like, she didn't forget about, well, she definitely forgot about her own deaths. I feel like everything else that happened the week of the 5th, Nagashi festival will probably still be burned into her subconscious. Which, oh boy, that's gotta be a lot to handle if maybe this episode addresses it. I doubt it, though. I doubt it. But, she seems to be taking everything well. As we all reminisced on our romp at the pool today, we got on our bikes and started on our way home. Hinamizawa didn't have any pools, so we gone to a public pool in Okinomiya. There was an elevation difference between the two communities, and while going downhill had been very pleasant, we had a long trip upward on our way back. Yes, exactly. The first time we ever hear about that is just the last installment. Just I thought again they're doing the whole fake car coasting downhill in a straight line, but no, they were still in the car. It's easy to get out of Hinamizawa, but it's harder to get back. For Hinamizawa children, the nest of their energy wasn't much of a chore, but we naturally fell sound as we quietly pedaled up the hill, past the angst road. Seeing everyone so silent made me want to screw things up somehow. Messing with Sadako at times like this was so much fun for me that you could call it the very purpose of my existence, and that's a very good existence. I pedaled harder, caught up to Sadako's bicycle she pedaled in silence, and gave her a nudge in the shoulder. Ah! Rika! Meep. Beep beep. Coming through. I pretended to be mean to Sadako, I sped up. Of course, she sped up too and chased after me. It's a race. Sadako struggled to somehow nudge me back, but I was no slouch either. Our speed naturally increased, and began to quickly pass others in the group. Are you pedaling uphill to come back? Oh my god. What's this? A race? This old man will lose either. You shouldn't fool around the road. It's dangerous, Rika-chan, Sadako-chan. Sadako stopped them. This is a public road. I mean, cars sometimes came and went. But we lived here a long time, so we knew not many cars came around at this hour. Well, hopefully no one has anything, horrible things to do, honestly, if the car runs a bend you can't see. Rika! A car's coming! Okay, oh no. Meep. I won't fall for that trick. So when Sadako said that, I thought she was just trying to distract me. A car horn. When I heard it, I realized Sadako's warning wasn't a trick. It was so sudden that I was overtaken with surprise. I looked in front of me. The car was right there. I panicked and violently swung my handlebars. The motion was more than aggressive and sudden enough to throw me off balance. My body lurched forward. I realized I was flying through the air. My nose caught the whiff of asphalt, telling me I was a moment away from being hurt. Rika! I heard Sadako shriek. No. The sensation I was experiencing was so unreal that I only could say I thought I heard her. I couldn't even figure out if the sight of the car coming towards me as I hurtled through the air was real. The absence of reality probably only lasted about 1 second. I was even given the time to say, oops. Ah, so that's how it goes into... So, oh... she went... It's gonna be an isekai episode! Oh no. Oh good god, she's thrown into another fragment, oh good god. My good god. I haven't seen a lot of isekai besides it's like for you, but man, my good god. I heard the cries of Higurashi in the distance. In those cries dwelt such cool tenderness that I wanted to listen forever. Eventually the silence was broken. The sound of many footsteps approached, put my mind back to reality. Suddenly, the cries of Higurashi were gone. The cries from the room were that of cicadas. What's the difference between cicadas and Higurashi? I thought they were the same thing. Are you telling me they were different the entire time? I thought I'd been hearing the Higurashi this whole time. Was that a dream? I was in a bed. I didn't recognize the ceiling. Where was I? The room was small, with an office desk and shelves full of medicine. I recognized the smell of that medicine, and the voice of the children mixing with the cicadas' cries. I knew right away. I was at school. I was in bed at the nurse's office. Oh, hi. The door opened and Chie appeared. I'm so used to saying she. Behind her was Sadako and... Huh? My mind went blank. It was the face of someone who couldn't have been there. Are you right, Fruity-san? Ah, thank goodness. I was really worried. The doctor should be here soon. Please, stay in bed until then. Who is this other... Oh my good god! Hi! Thank goodness. I really was worried. My mind was still blank. Dazed, I kept staring at his face. He spoke words of concern. This person could not possibly be at school in 1983. It must be a dream. Wake up, Rika! Punches his arms and stomach. Wake up! What's that? Toshi? Are you okay? You still don't look very good. Stay in bed until the doctor gets here. That aside, Sadako Hojo-san! Where are you hiding? She raised her voice and turned back towards the hallway before Sadako poked her face out, looking as though she was sulking. So what happened to Rika in this fragment world, then? I didn't throw it that hard. Pretty sounded just exaggerating. It bonked her on the goddamn forehead and knocked her out. I'm pretty sure that's that hard if it knocks someone out. That isn't how you apologize. Say sorry to Fruity-san. I said something a little strange about Sadako's tone and mood. In a case, such a situation, Sadako had done something to me. As a result, I have been carried to the nurse's office. That's a question, actually. Were Rika and Sadako, I guess, that close good friends before Satoshi went missing? That's how it looked to me. But didn't I pass out after falling on my bike on the way home from Okinomiya with everyone? Come here, Sadako-san. She called Sadako in a firm voice. She called Sadako-san before Satoshi went missing. The only time there were two people named Hojo was when Sadako and Satoshi were both here together. In other words, before June 1982. Then, was this the past? Was I repeating everything again? The single car, oh good god. I felt chills start to crawl through me. I'd gone through all that hardship to get past June 1983, and now the world had rewound to the past again. Where is Hanyo? She doesn't seem like she was with everyone. With at the pool, honestly. Did she just decide to do other things that day, or like she just decided to vanish? The dead end of June 1983 that I challenged for over 100 years and finally broke through. Would I have to defeat it again? I certainly learned many things and defeated my fate with certain willpower, but I was also saved by a lot of luck. Yeah, that was the one thing too, honestly, I keep a bit. I was kind of almost harping a tiny bit, or like showcasing a bit. There was no proof I could challenge June 1983 again and defeat it like I did last time. Which meant I was probably hit by that car in the bike accident and killed. And just before dying, I regretted death and rewound the world. The way that unrealistic memory cut off was definitely similar to when I rewound the world purposely, previously. Then, would I undertake a terribly long journey again? That can't be. The idea was infinitely terrifying. As it dawned upon me, I felt as though my vision was growing distant. I still hadn't fully understood just how terrifying this was just yet. Come, Sadako. You need to apologize. Pretty son, I'm sorry for throwing the ball at you. You were just standing there and being in the way. Sadako's apology was strange. Okay, yep, they're not exactly friends. Oh boy. It wasn't an apology, really. It's literally sounded like an excuse. She was at she and Satoshi, wondering if that was enough. It didn't seem like Sadako had any intention of apologizing for throwing the ball at me. Because Sadako wasn't even looking at me. Not really. It wasn't... It was like I didn't belong in her world. She never treated me this coldly before. Before anything else, she's talking strangely. Oh, and I'm just wondering now too that they made the club, honestly, the Demon Club together, just because what horrible things happened with them, the aunt and the uncle, honestly. And if the Oishiro-sama's curse did not happen, and Sadako didn't succumb to the Hinamizawa syndrome and like push her parents off the cliff, that means they're still alive. And technically, the only stress that Sadako had to go through then was just getting over her mixed up memories of her past stepdads. Honestly, I wonder if they actually would have gotten close. Actually, did all of them only get close because of the club? Huh. It didn't seem like the situation that had befallen me was a rewind to so far in the past that Satoshi was still around. Something else had happened. Something bizarre that I didn't understand. We're dealing with an AU situation, folks. That's how I felt as I listened to the odd way Sadako was talking. She sounded far more normal than the Sadako I knew. Sadako made a face, like reading a standard written apology was enough, then ran out to the hallway. Yeah, actually, reading through like the plot synopsis for, I guess, this chapter does remind me of another story. Like, that tackles this exact same, I guess, theme, honestly. Like, I think I brought up before on this channel, and no, I'll let me say that right now, that Echo does not employ time loop stuff at all. Literally, at all. Just saying that right now. Oh boy, I just realized if no one actually is, if no one actually heard me talking about Echo, honestly, in the last, the 10-hour thing, quick synopsis. That's the game I was bringing up and talking about for I kept vaguely alluding to the entirety of my Higurashi Let's Play, literally. And yeah, I'm not the only one who actually thinks there's similarities between the two, but that's neither here nor there. I won't talk about it too much, honestly, right here. Sadako made a face, like reading out a standard written apology was enough, then ran off into the hallway. I checked the clock. It was right in the middle of the afternoon break. She was probably rushing back to the schoolyard because she didn't want to miss any more playtime. She turned her back on me and ran away. I suddenly felt very cold and sad. The Sadako I knew had hurt me enough to put me in the nurse's office. She would have stayed with me the entire time. Her footsteps vanished before she even looked at me once. It didn't seem like she hated me. I felt like she wasn't even interested. What's happening? What year and what month was it right now, anyway? Hanya was nowhere to be found. Despite wanting to know, no calendar or anything like one was nearby. It didn't seem like I could find out right now. Normal people would give you a strange look if you asked what the year and month were. And I learned from my long journey that I had to be careful about that. Yes, if you asked about that, and I gotta go into the long whole thing. Has it been years since I last woken from my coma? Gosh. Instead, I decided to push that question aside for the moment. Just play and assess the situation to see if everything's alright. Sorry, Rika-chan. I'll make sure to talk to Sadako later. I'm sure she asked you to play with her because you seem lonely. Lonely, oh. Meep. Thanks. I'm not worried about it anymore, so it's okay. The Sadako's older brother, Satoshi, apologized in her stead. He seemed no different from the Satoshi I knew. Alright. I'm gonna get going then. Thank you, Satoshi. Anytime. Satoshi gave a little wave of his hand, turned, and left the nurse's office. Man, I know it's because, like, his disappearance is, like, vital to the narrative, honestly. But, man, there needs to be more of him, honestly. Again, like I keep mentioning, Shion, my good gosh. It always feels like to me the characters I find the most interesting. The story like and focus on other things. A new set of footsteps approaching this place. Their pace and sound, it wasn't a child. It was probably Coach. She had called for him. Ah, Doctor. I'm sorry to call you out so suddenly. I'm assuming it's not him then. You just woke up a few minutes ago. Is that right? That's good. That's good. It was a throaty voice. I do not know what to make of that description. It wasn't eerie? Just speak from the pure throat. The man who suddenly appeared was one I'd never seen in the clinic, or even the Erie Institute. Erie. He was a large man with round curves, the exact opposite of Erie. Erie, god damn it, it's still fucking it's set in my goddamn brain, god damn it. With round curves? Okay, this music, okay, that's great. The stubble on his face made him seem rugged. He's so distinct that I wouldn't forget him even if I only met him once. Yet I had no recollection of him. But he was wearing a white robe. And Chie had called him the doctor from the clinic. The clinic. Doesn't mention what kind of clinic, though. So he must have been a doctor from the Erie clinic. But I never met him before. He was a secret doctor you never met. A part of the staff you never met. He was very lonely. You know he's probably going to be very socially active right here. Hey, Rika-chan. You sure went through a lot? The only thing is thinking for a 30 voice is I just must speak deep from my esophagus. You sure went through a lot. Did the ball hit you in the back of the head? Would you mind if I took a look? Neep. Without waiting for an answer, the mountaineerish doctor, okay, oh, that sets a lot of things in place, actually, but around the back of my head. His fingers were uncultured, completely different from Irie's delicate hands. Is he new? Or, could you show me your eyes? Yep, you seem alright. Do you have a headache or anything? Any nausea, dizziness? No. I think you're probably fine then. Just to be sure, we'll take you to the clinic and look at your brainwaves. Still, as far as I can see, there's no problem at all. Okay, no, just that little laugh. You're literally just cementing my brain that you just sound just like Oishi. Never mind. It's literally just Oishi, but he became a doctor instead. Like, even Rika doesn't recognize him because of that. Literally because of that. The doctor laughed uproariously, spraying spittle everywhere. Chie gave a look of relief too, as if that was a sign there were no problems. I see. Then just be safe. I'll leave her in your care. Pretty-san, please go with the doctor to clinic. Indeed. You'll be in and out before afternoon hours begin. Let's go. The big doctor, acting too familiar for my tastes, pushed me in the door. Before I could fight my feeling of wrongness, I was taken out of the nurse's office. Oh boy, this is gonna be the entire thing where Takano Takano didn't choose actually Irie from being the director then instead. I'm curious what his name is. It better be a goddamn cool name. Please, cool names for the main jazz biz. What was this world? Sometimes the dice came up with strange numbers and caused little differences. And just from all of this, I'm assuming you never got to this mega amount of differences though. You're always confined to this exact same circumstances and set variables, honestly. So, But this is the first world that felt this wrong to me. Did the dice rolls turn up something rare? Like it just landed right on its side. It's literally in between the 3 and 4 spaces. It's in between worlds, in between universes. After repeating this world for over 100 years, I thought I figured out pretty much every event. Yet this all felt so strange to me. There's something immeasurable about how strange it was. I couldn't help but feel intensely anxious. You don't really know how to act in that anyway. Put my shoes on the entrance before being taken to a parked car in front of the school gate. Is it a black or white car? Huh? Does it have AC? All the while, I stared at the big man's back as he walked, racking my brains trying to remember him, but couldn't come up with anything. No matter how much I thought back, I couldn't recall any man like this in the Mountain Dogs, much less the Irie Institute. If Satoshi was here, that meant it had to be before June 1982. Hanya would always be there as soon as I woke up. Didn't you tell me what was going on in that world? You just get a debriefing. In this world, I haven't seen Hanyo even once. Oh no, don't tell me. Oh good god, that's actually even more terrible. Of him, oh no, you're not really literally the 8th descendant of the Fruity family bloodline. Oh my good god. That or well, that technically means that there was like at least one, I guess, firstborn male in any of the generations. Then technically speaking, that chain is broken. Then, huh? So it means you're probably never gonna see Hanyo in this world if that bloodline rule takes place here. Well, that goes in the whole thing about genetics and how different things take place in other forms, but okay, that's a different topic entirely. The radiant sunlight, the annoying cicada cries, the lively voices of my classmates, I knew them all so well. Something was different. Those weren't cicadas, those were Higurashi. They're so different, yet so similar at the same time. It almost made me sick. Hanyo, where am I? What kind of world is this? Hanyo didn't answer me. Fine then. If I went home and opened a bottle of wine, she'd be sure to come rushing in. Not once had she ever allowed me a few elegant minutes to myself. Michan! Michan, take this! Ha! Too slow. The most important rule of dodgeball is to go for the weaklings. Aiming for me was a technical mistake. Just to not do a giant corkscrew and smack Reina right in the fucking face. Ow! I saw several classmates playing a game of dodgeball. Me and Reina were there in the crowd. Reina? Any world where Reina was present was later than April 1982. And Satoshi disappeared from the village in June 1982. The only time Reina and Satoshi could be at the same time was the short span from April to June in 1982. It didn't seem like I'd gone as far into the past as I feared. But I still had to repeat the June 1983, and that hadn't changed. Did I complete those long, difficult days of nothing but strife yet again? Teaming with my friends, trusting each other, grappling with our suspicions of each other, believing in miracles, and fighting alongside everyone. And all that
coincidences in the world to help save us. If we missed any one of those elements of the process, this world would end in horrific tragedy. I gotten past the dead end before. This is the second time. I understood a little of how to fight against Akano's group. It's experience talking. So I probably wouldn't have to spend another whole 100 years. Even still, it would definitely take several of those years, if not dozens. Like, by that point, you probably just probably figure out the best way to almost convince everyone completely outright with only just a few words to get on your side, honestly, instead of massive bouts of convincing and persuasion. Then you almost have it all down to a science, and by that point, no matter what kind of world you're in. But from this point, it doesn't seem like you have to worry about that too much, if I had to guess. But I never wanted to spend another day in that June 1983 ever again. Despair I felt at reaching the goal once, then getting kicked back to the start. It's like Sisyphus punishment, honestly, all over again then. I got into the man's car. As it bumped over the rough roads, I sorted out the situation I was in. That day, in July 1983, I went to have a good time at the pool with everyone. On the way home, there was an accident, and I died. Or you just knocked unconscious, and you astral project a different world. And before dying, I used the power I never thought I had to use again to turn back time once more. And now things are weirdly different. This is, probably not June. If I had to guess, it'd be July. Which this is definitely gonna go into the topic again of, yeah, like, if none of this, if all the things you went through with someone else didn't come to fruition, then, like, if the things that actually bonded with all your actual current friends before, like, for several hundred years before, and now you're in a world where you never had to go through that struggle ever. That means, technically speaking, none of your friends, like, had to go through it either, and everything would definitely be different as well. It's a sort of pros and cons, give or take situation. It was definitely considerably hot, so the Watanagashi festival couldn't be far off. That meant the countdown to Satoshi's disappearance had already begun. Early nurse's office, he gave me kind of considerate words, but an unyielding darkness would have been starting to take control of his heart. His fear of his inescapable terminal illness's footsteps. Technically that's Hanya, but you know. I thought back to how the Hojo siblings had looked in the nurse's office, and Sadako and Satoshi's everyday sibling relationship. It would cease to be an everyday thing in just a few days or weeks. Sadako's somewhat cold treatment of me had hurt. I remember that. I felt pity for her. Sadako. For now, at least, treasure that time. Oh, so you literally swapped in Satoshi's place ever since then. Oh, wow. Your relationship with Satoshi is limited. That cruel fact hadn't been overruled a single time in any of these hundreds of years of worlds. In other words, it was inevitable.
Not really?
I can only sympathize with the fate awaiting Sadako now.
We're not going back to the Fate Destiny thing exam, please.
Eventually the Irie clinic came to view. Every time I saw it, I was struck by its magnificence. It was almost too much for Hinamizawa.
Instead of several story floor doctor's office, it's just here, just a 1-floor little nice little clinic.
This time, the clinic building felt a little dull, as though affected by that sadness coloring my heart. Huh. The car came to a stop in front of the employee parking lot near the back entrance.
Can you walk? Are you feeling well?
Meep. I'm perfectly fine. I don't think I need a brain scan.
Injuries are scary because some take a while to do anything. Yep, that's concussions. I was thinking you were actually going to do that. Yep. Yep, sometimes they take a while. And like the thing that the first thing comes to mind about, if you feel like you're going weak, honestly, after like getting a head injury like that, if you can really help it, don't try to fall asleep. It might make things worse. That's what I think that's what I heard before. And just immediately go to a hospital and follow their directions and instructions. Like, my good gosh. I don't know exactly what happens if like a person with concussion like falls asleep too early, but I'm imagining something terrible. I can only imagine that. I don't know how, but ugh. Head injuries are scary because some take a while to do anything. We'll play it safe and get you scanned. Miss nothing, you can go back for afternoon class.
This was the first time I met the strange doctor, but he didn't seem unreliable. Maybe the cloudiness of my expression made me look like I was worried my injury was serious. That's why I tried to cheer me up. The sentence occurred when I was off base,
Because you haven't explained anything of what's in your head right now, so this is the next best thing you can say.
but for now, I told myself that he wasn't a bad person at least.
I'm so glad that even throughout the entire thing of the many different worlds and isekai over to this universe, that still crocodile, alligator, just advertisement stapler or whatever that is still here. I'm still so happy. That's a constant in this world. If anything has to be constant in every single universe, no matter how different things are, that singular alligator statue better always be there. Better always be there.
The air inside the clinic smelled unfamiliar to me. Inside, it was the same clinic as the one I knew. Something was different. On the whole, it felt old, like I find cobwebs where I looked. And I recognized none of the nurses we passed. The only people I knew were some elderly villagers chatting as they watched TV in the waiting room.
Oh, is that you, Rika-chan? What happened? You have a cold? Someone during a recess threw a ball and hit it in the back of her head. Figure we should do a scan to make sure. Head injuries can be scary. But you're young, so I'm sure 1 or 2 balls to the head is nothing. Again, kids seemingly are just invulnerable, invincible. I'm wondering now when exactly is the time where kids slowly just get out of that phase and they actually do like, is it somewhere in between the teenager phase or right before that happens when preteens, honestly, where all that changes? That singular superpower that all kids have just gets vanished and put into the goddamn, like, whatever, just supernatural forces surrounding the entire earth.
People laughed aloud, as though rubbing some spit on the bump would fix it. Something about their behavior was strange, too. The people I knew would get out their beads, start praying, and make a big fuss just because they got a bump in the head.
Yep, your parents are still alive.
Maybe they say 1 or 2 balls is fine because you're young, but if we're a normal child. But for me in particular, in Hinamizawa, that was impossible. This all seemed very wrong. Something huge, something I couldn't ignore was different about this world.
Rika-chan, come in, come in. I just realized this whole thing is gonna be like asking Rika whether this would be a better world for her to live in or not. But now I'm just curious and now oddly concerned of if she's given that choice, how exactly can she go back, honestly? I swear, if it's literally just how it was with just death, honestly, then oh good god. Oh good god. Oh no. Because again, the whole thing of Rika bringing up before of she had thoughts before of like offing herself so she can just reset things immediately, but she then realized that those separate worlds honestly had to deal with everyone else in that world actually had to see that she killed herself and had to live with that, and that stopped her from doing that. That's if that's gonna be the option that she has to deal with here, then oh good god, that makes things even harder actually. Even though she has absolutely no direct ties with us, honestly. Hmm. Yeah, what was it like? I've seen both a fanfic do like tackle the similar idea before, even a movie before, and what was that? Was it a game? Yeah, it was a game. Those 3, honestly. So like I think I'm well versed in this. It's still a very intriguing topic, but I'm curious how Higurashi takes it. After the large man went straight into the examination room, he called me in. The Queen Carrier had come for examination, and the next logical step was that Irie, the director, would appear, but he hadn't appeared yet. I'm waiting for him, are you going in straight into the director's office? The discomfort I've been feeling this whole time got even stronger. And then, I spotted something odd. What is that nameplate? It was a notice in the hospital, hung in the waiting room. Please be sure to bring your insurance card on your first checkup of the month. Takano Clinic. Okay, no, she managed to put in her own name. Huh. Huh, actually.
Maybe, like, if the Hinamizawa syndrome is still in effect here, like, that's the one thing is a constant even, like, through the entire world, or at least, it was set back, like, so early on in, like, this, world's, ecosystem, honestly, that, it's, like, limited to, Himizawa Village itself. They can't really change that, so if Himizawa syndrome has always been here for all these different worlds, then would Takano just being, like, put as director against against other politicians, against witches, and they just put her in charge, and whether or not they actually like they voice their opinion because misogyny and all that. Would Takano actually not have done all that, or at least like that wouldn't attribute to her stress, honestly, that she had to pretend in some cases to be underneath someone, even though she's running the entire operation. I wonder. Huh? Takano Clinic? I looked around the other notices hung about the waiting room. All of them had Takano Clinic written at the end. Not a single one said Irie Clinic. Where am I? Rika-chan, come on in. We're burning daylight. The sun is already burning. I heard the man's deep voice in the examination room again. I ignored him and burst out the front entrance. Why? Because I want to know. To know the name of this clinic. Kano Clinic. It looked exactly like the Irie clinic I knew. But there it was. The answer to why everything felt so out of place. Where is this? It's in Hinamizawa, you silly goose. I could feel the strength drain from my body. My legs gave out, and I sat. For a while, I stared dumbly up at the name that was inexplicably different. I'm not sure how long I stayed like that. Eventually, the big doctor from before and a nurse came running out. They asked me if I suddenly felt sick, and if I didn't answer, they would annoyingly get even more concerned. So, somewhat offhandedly, I lied that I felt a little dizzy for a moment. Clear concussion signs. Brain scan. They must have thought the vertigo pointed to a symptom of something. They picked me up and brought me into the examination room, hooked me up to an EEG terminal, and told me to rest. Meep. It's really nothing. I thought this would be annoying, so I tried to run away, then I tripped and fell. It's the doctor's job to decide if it's nothing. Please, lay down until I say it's okay. Understand? I feel like the more I try to say, the more complicated things it get, so for now, I decided to play along so I can get out of here. Yeah, they're still, like, going through Himizawa syndrome. If the world is, like, that rarely off course that Himizawa syndrome is, not even a real disease, honestly, like, confined to this like, entire area from millions and billions of years before from the Earth's formation, then would Takano even still even be here? No, the Himizawa syndrome would be a thing, but that'd be a weirdly... Well, if the Hinamizawa Center didn't even exist in the entire, like, they do a story in like this same town again, it'll just be purely slice of life, like, purely slice of life stories. And absolutely nothing else. Absolutely nothing else. Which huh. Doctor? Is there a doctor named Irie here? What? Who did you say? Irie. Irie? Is that your family doctor, Rika-chan? What hospital does he work at? We're getting nowhere. Is Irie not in this world? Compared to everything the other adults like Akasaka and Kasai did during the long battle of June 19th, Irie's presence might have seemed to matter little, but it was extremely important that he was around. While his determination to sever the chain of sadness created by Hinamizawa syndrome, there's essentially no way for Hinamizawa to break free of its 1,000-year curse. And Irie wasn't here. Plus, Irie was my only ally who knew I was the Queen Carrier. That ally was gone. If you had to do that all over again here, you'd like actually familiarize with this guy then instead. That strange way Sadako was talking. The absence of my only ally from Tokyo, Irie. No doubt some unpleasant die landed on a 1. And despite my ally Irie not being here, was Takano still behind everything? When you get one bad roll, you get a bunch more, typically. Dr. Takano passed away quite a while ago. Oh my good god! The name comes from that splendid doctor who built a wonderful clinic in this village. So never had the chance to meet, but a splendid doctor if there ever was one, I hear. Okay, so it's not even Mio Takano. This is... Oh. Is this literally just going off of this is literally going off that secret scene that's happening in the ending, like covered a bit, like by the very end of you either go through and like choose specific fragments in a certain order and not crack any of them, and you get a secret one, which involves Miyoko, like her parents not dying. Like she goes with her parents to the mall, the train does not crash, and she finally gets her last flag for collection. And I'm actually curious thinking about it now that was that purple-haired woman like I doubt it's actually like it's Rika's mom, but I don't know how to place who technically would be the one there to showcase it off. Unless you're unless that's technically Hanyo, who I guess learned to be a better shapeshifter in some case or anything like that. So, Someone I never had a chance to meet, but a splendid doctor if there was one, I hear. Splendid doctor? With the occult obsessed Takano ever praised the splendid doctor? Well, she put her mind to it. And she passed away a while ago? I'm assuming it's a Fumi Takano. If it is actually her, then wow. Then maybe like literally the whole thing again of the idea presented before in that little extra fragment with where her parents actually decide to meet up again with Hifumi Takano, and she just grew close to him like again, like kind of almost naturally in some case. When I looked around the examination room, I found a picture of some old people hanging in a frame. On it was written, founder and first director, Hifumi Takano. Yeah, I figured. Hifumi Takano? Wait, wasn't the man Takano was up to, who she called her grandfather? He was the first one to discover the Hinamizawa syndrome, but nobody accepted his theories about it. He passed away in despair. Okay, that leads to another more world-building stuff. If people like actually okay, one or two things. Either I'm assuming this is more confidential again, like they're examining all of this a bit more. Does that mean, technically speaking, that if their research actually goes way deeper into this, are they actually gonna go down the whole figure out whether this is actually a parasite that actually lives in every single person's brain naturally, but this specific parasitic strain is different for these villagers? Because again, if it goes down that route, then oh boy, that's gonna be a whole lot of discussion then about how they brought before from like religion and all that, and a leadership and a queen carrier and all that, and cults and all that. Oh my good god, that just leads to a whole different entire giant rolling down to it. Oh my dear god, that leads to an entire new avenue. Oh my good god. Takano understood his jargon and eventually made a big decision, then began to build a future so stable you could call it fate. That Takano? Another person named Nakano? Not the founder? I can't say I know them. Oh, okay, never mind. None of the nurses are named that here anyway. Maybe it was an old nurse who retired before I got here? I don't think so. Before you got here? So that means you're not exactly a director or anything like that. You're not even all that. Assuming that you're just a standard normal doctor. But from the sound of it, you're well acquainted with Rika, so... Because maybe research with a Queen Carrier whole thing again, because of the fruity family thing again. Almost because of the whole legends again from the 8th generation descendant, honestly. They'll probably take way much more interest in her. But since maybe she's not, if like, even like, genetics timeline-wise, honestly, like, it's all still changed here, but Rika still is generally the same exact person, then oh boy. They'll probably be... I wonder if they'll actually still be interested in, like, you know, with Rika that much. Like, she'll still be indispensable because of the whole Queen Carrier thing, but since Katano was, like, you know, more, supernatural obsessed, honestly, She took the whole 8th generational thing so much more better. Like, just be very intrigued about that. Which is also funny because literally this is literally just part 108. So this is gonna be 8th and Infinity Beyond. Good gosh. I don't think so. She's a young woman. There's nobody here by that name. If there was a nurse like that, I definitely want her to work here. The man guffawed with delight. He certainly didn't look like he was lying. He was speaking the truth. Then even Takano is gone? Irie was absent, Takano was absent. The Irie Institute didn't have its director or vice director. What did that all mean? Who was the director then? Oh, and what about the Mountain Dogs? The Irie Institute was at its heart a research institution. Without them acting as its hands and feet, it couldn't exist. Is there a landscaping company here called Okanogi Gardeners? The famous gardening service of all of Hinamizawa and Okonomiya needs. That can grow anywhere. Huh? Landscapers? Couldn't tell ya. Never had to call one of them myself. Wouldn't really know. Where are they from? I thought they had an office in Okonomiya. Want to look them up in a phone book later. Individual people sometimes don't show up in them, but I think most companies should be in there. Could the Irie Institute not exist in this world? Does that mean this world didn't have a dead end at all? Actually, probably at this point, if Fumi Takano put his lab here, honestly, early on, then they probably made significant strides, honestly, for Hinamizawa syndrome. And actually, to make things probably more complicated for Rika to think about, that what if they actually already solved and actually found a complete cure for it? Like, right here. That's gonna raise even more things right here. Well, I guess if that topic comes up, honestly, Rika literally just okay, tell me everything how you figured out the cure. I'll just memorize it and just take it over to my next world and just speed up the recovery process for Satoshi if she decides to go back over. Which oh my good gosh. That's called universal cheating. Literally. I couldn't figure anything out. Which dice were showing 1 and which were showing 6? Or was the stranger part the dots on the dice themselves? The game board I was on was a piece on now, and the game board I knew. Were they different? Well, let's be a little more optimistic. Was it possible that Tokyo hadn't chosen Irie, but this man instead? It's the new director. I doubt it, though. Then would this man know I was the Queen Carrier? If he did, then a number of things would fall into place. I immediately called out on that. The imprudence of giving me a brain scan or just getting knocked over by a ball to the head? Wasn't that just because he knew a special that I was the Queen Carrier? Then was this man playing the role of Irie in this world? I looked at the name tag in the robe he put on after coming into the room and read the name. Yamamoto. Okay, that's kind of a cool name, though. I think I heard that once or twice before, but it's still a nice name. Yes? It was the natural response. It seemed the name Yamamoto wasn't a problem. Was this Yamamoto person the director of the Irie Institute? Or rather, the Yamamoto Institute? You just read the name of the clinic here. Are you saying there's a secret and alias here? It was also possible that he crowned this clinic with the Takano name in commemoration of him succeeding Hifumi Takano's research. Yamamoto, do you know what the Hinamizawa syndrome is? The Hinamizawa what? Do you know about me being the Queen Carrier or anything? He's a completely normal doctor. Queen? Ryuchan, you seem to me like you're still a princess. Okay, that's smooth. Do you want to be a queen when you grow up? You dream big. Okay, there we go. You can take it off now. I learned from just that short exchange that Yamamoto had nothing to do with the Hinamizawa syndrome. Either it's solved or literally like the clinic has literal tears, honestly, exploring that.
Or actually, probably even weirder enough than what if they changed the name? Honestly, Hinamizawa syndrome. That's not no one even knows that modernly now anymore. Oh my good gosh.
There are a few people unconnected to Tokyo in the Irie Institute too, but they were only a small handful of nurses and office workers. Besides, the Queen Carrier was currently in the clinic. Anyone connected to the Hinamizawa syndrome would have come rushing to me. Yamamoto had rushed to me, but he didn't know I was the Queen Carrier. What did that mean? I listened hard to try and catch the sound of Irie's indiscreet laughter. All I heard was a TV in the waiting room, the motor of the goldfish aquarium. That maid-obsessed man with his ulterior motives during checkups was nowhere to be seen in the examination room. Ulterior motives during checkups, okay. I thought he just normally talked about it, but that makes him feel worse in my eyes even more now. God damn it. Ugh, not even just that, but like I said before, like he had an off aura about him even without the maid thing. And apparently whether it was like rewritten or all that, he did lobotomies before, then I guess I was feeling that. Oh my good god. It was simply uncomfortable. And the smells of dust and medicine made me feel unpleasant. Now I knew. This really wasn't the clinic I knew. It wasn't just a strange feeling anymore. It was a clear fact now. Yamamoto left for a moment, then came back and told me there was nothing wrong with my readings. I'm assuming from the sound of it, Rika didn't even notice them. They used a special equipment for detecting, I guess, different levels and stages of Hinamizawa syndrome, honestly. So it's really just a normal checkup. So, So that means they either solved it or somehow they morphed them. The research was completed way before Rika's, I guess, birth, honestly, and now everything's the normal. The research was completed, honestly. You feel alright? You can go back to school now. Afternoon class will start soon, so I can take you there if you need a ride. Do you go to school yourself? Meep. Meep isn't yes or no. It is in my dictionary. I say yeah a lot, okay? My good god. Yeah. Which will it be? Yes. I'm fine. I can go back to school myself. Yeah. God. I see. Then get going. I'll call Chie-sensei and tell her you're coming back. Oh. When I saw Yamamoto pick up the phone on the table, I spotted a tabletop counter next to it. There it is. June. Showa 58. Showa 58? What was an AD again? The Pacific War ended in Showa 20, which was 1945. 58 minus 20... I'm bad at borrowing, but luckily I don't need it. 58 minus 20 is 38? Yes, 38 plus 20 is definitely 58. And if you add 38 to 1945, 45 plus 38, we're doing digital root stuff, is 83? It's 1983? June? Wasn't the same period of time I had just been living in? But... Huh? That's impossible. In June of 1983, Satoshi is here? And Irie isn't here, Takano isn't here, Sadako is acting strangely, and even Hanyo is gone. Where am I? Hanyo, I know you're wasting time somewhere. Get over here with your... Oh, Zenoma, tell me what kind of world this is. Please? I walked through downtown on my way back to school. All the storefronts were familiar. Nothing had changed. But... Oh, sorry about that. For some reason, there were less people and more stores their shutters closed. This apparent state of decline reminded me of New Year's or New Year's Eve. It was a strange sight during the season when you could hear cicadas crying. I barely passed anyone. Even when old people walked by, they didn't talk to me. Normally, if I met an old person in the middle of the day like this, they'd ask if I had a cold and was staying home from school. Or they'd start rubbing their prayer beads and saying weird things. There was none of that.
You're now perfectly normal.
Just like the old people in the clinic, they reacted with disinterest. I was in the mood for anyway, so I was thankful they didn't do any of that. But there was already a heap of oddities before me, and I couldn't help but feel like it was growing even bigger. Hmm. Ugh. Afternoon break was longer by the time I got back to school, and it was now time for afternoon classes. Yay! This is gonna be interesting thing. Like just the whole topic again. Just either just staying here where nothing is terribly bad happened and making the most of what happened, or just going back and living the same exact struggles and experiences again. Just have what you got so used to when you got so attached to now. Hmm. Yeah, it's quite a big choice and decision. And I feel like I almost am. Well, I wonder actually how many people would actually like decide to stick with a choice and like this world is better and to stay here. I'm actually curious to some people who actually decide to do that, especially with all the same drawbacks. Honestly, like they decide to keep and stay here. I'm actually quite curious about that. That probably just come down to just being on better terms with someone you actually like or like want to be friends with, or maybe a crush is on better terms with you, or like you're dating there or something like that. But I'm with all the same exact thing where you don't really have the memories that this other stuff had. You're still you. You're seeing the memories from other universes, and now you're here, taking over someone else's life. I am oddly curious if I hear anyone say they would honestly stay here with all the same exact drawbacks, and they can mitigate all those little things just to do all that. Which is because the last universes honestly were just absolutely horrible and trauma inducing, and this is actually the most refreshing thing ever. I can understand that, but if I guess if it's similar to Rika's circumstances, honestly, I'll probably be weirded out by them deciding to stay here. Honestly, hmm, hmm. I went through the entrance and changed my slippers, and then I noticed another strange thing. There are a lot of empty shoe cubbies. Empty was different from absent. Anyone enrolled would leave either slippers or regular footwear in the locker, but no matter what, if neither were present, that meant they weren't in this class to begin with. So because of that, there's not a lot of students here? Does that technically mean like the whole entire thing with them I guess the real estate that them like Oreo Sonozaki did with them bringing more people in never happened either, because of all the small different changes, including with the clinic and all that, and the damn product didn't happen, and they felt like they were perfectly fine in their own little subsumated community. Honestly, they never felt the need to branch out, at least accept something new, just bring in new people. Honestly, so there's not that many new people here to begin with. Although from the sounds of it, though, Keiichi I thought was like the only one new person though. Well, we were only focusing on the Demon Club, characters. Honestly, we don't know too much about the rest of the class, but the sounds of it, it was only him. So, huh? What's the butterfly effect for that then? If neither were present, that meant they weren't in this class to begin with. Sometimes people took their slippers home to wash during the weekends, but any lockers being empty during the day was unthinkable. I counted a little over 10 pairs of shoes. That was only half of how many people were in the school I knew. Everything was so messed up. I had no idea what was going on. I steeled myself and opened the classroom door. Everyone turned around to look at me. There truly were only half the familiar classmates here, and they weren't absent, because only half as many seats were actually in the classroom. Rudy-san, please take your seat. All right, everyone. This is class time, so focus on your drills. Drills. Chie clapped her hands, and everyone looked back down at their desks and workbooks, ignoring me altogether. My seat. Satoshi was sitting at the desk next to Sadako's. Didn't see my seat. Then where was it? Soon, I found an open seat, looking small and quiet in the back near the window. Ooh.
Well, they're putting it on heaps. They're putting it on heaps. Honestly, that I'm. Maybe this is not the best world to be staying in, especially that line and comment from Satoshi saying that Rika's very lonely. Honestly, which, huh? I want like probably it's Rika's like I guess original just personality, just being shy or anything like that, or I wonder if things I guess happened differently for this world. Oh boy, that's gonna be an entire thing entirely from Rika decides to head back home. Is like going right to the storage shed house, and her parents just like call like, "Where are you going, Rika? We have everything we need right here." And Rika just like completely like deer in the headlights, stunned. Like, oh my good gosh. I can tell from the pattern of the floor cushion with my disaster hood in it. That seemed to be Rika Furu's seat in this world. It was in the corner, as if the classroom had forgotten about it. There are no seats next to it, and nobody would see it when looking at the blackboard. In a place where it wouldn't block anyone's view, whether or not I wasn't here. That seat was almost symbolic of how I've been feeling ever since I awoke. I sat down and took out my workbook. Then, pretending to study, I looked around the classroom. Mian Sonozaki was here. She didn't seem very different. Reina Ryugu was here too. Or I guess Rena, honestly. Make an effort for that. The way she was helping the child in the seat next to her with his work was very like her. Sadako and Satoshi were studying together as friendly siblings. Satoshi, being the older brother, was teaching her things, but Sadako looked disgruntled, and his words went in at one ear and out the other. To me, it was almost like she didn't hate studying, she just didn't like the roles being reversed. Then she'd looked after him at home and made him smile a little. Made me smile a little. I still felt a tiny pain in my chest from Sadako's cold treatment of me in the nurse's office. As far as I could tell by looking at her individually, she seemed totally normal. So before Satoshi went missing, she's back to how she used to be. But still, I still couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong there. When Sadako was with Satoshi, she was often gloomy because of problems at home or their aunt's abuse, so they're acting like normal siblings, and though I knew it was rude to Sadako, that felt wrong. How dare you? You should be struggling immensely for this. My good gosh. But Sadako had a normal life, that was fine. The bigger shock, though, was the absence of the most important person in our group of friends. I looked around the room several times for him, but he wasn't here. Yeah, Keiichi's not here. Or Keiichi, actually? Yeah, the extra I. Keiichi Maebara wasn't here. I mean, multiple excuses, like I wasn't seeing right, or he happened to be absent today. But even the list of students on cleaning duty hanging on the wall didn't have Keiichi's name on it. Everyone in the class would have had their names on there, but Keiichi's wasn't. Keiichi Maebara did not exist in this classroom, even though it was June 1983 in this world. I see. On rare occasions, there would be a world where Keiichi hadn't moved here. It wasn't the first time, but it was a sad thing. Keiichi was an important key to crushing the fate of June 1983. If he wasn't the game board, this game was predetermined to be a loss. But was this even a game at all? No Irie, no Takano? No signs of the Institute from Tokyo researching Hinamizawa syndrome. If none of them were here, didn't that mean there was nobody at all to fight? If I didn't need to fight, then, in a sense, Keiichi's absence was an issue. And you're kind of looking at him that he's useful just because he can get you through this, which I'm oh boy, that's another thing to think about. Actually, in this case, June 1983 wasn't fated to be a dead end, and in other words, in this world, the 1,000 dice all turned up ones, and that changed the absolute fate Takano constructed with her certain willpower.
into something else? I had no idea what was what. Could this world even be explained by what dots came up in the dice? Where am I? Someone tell me. Yeah, that's a lot to handle, honestly. Oh my good gosh, actually. And now just like there's no conflict. Like there's absolutely none. There's no like life-threatening circumstances for Rika to face, but now just this sort of feeling of absolute wrongness of it all. Everything working hard for, it's now gone. It's over with. But now there's something else just missing from it all. I'm actually glad it's taught like this and this. Yes, this scenario is tackling the subject. Huh. Obviously unable to focus during class, my head was filled with the listless cries of the cicadas and the feeling of being out of place that I couldn't get rid of. Everybody, stand up. Bow. Goodbye. Thankfully, Mian was still class president. If she was vice class president, that's just how you know that there was way much more weird stuff going on in this world. For some reason, that was a relief. Oh, what? Is there even a club in this world? Yeah, I was expecting like there'd be a sad thing about that, where they all just like pack up and ready to go home because, yeah, if it wasn't for the abuse happening at their house and this never would have happened. If I could receive a baptism of those crazy club games, maybe it would clear up my feelings a little. On days we had club, she always called the members right when the school ended. Actually, it'd be even worse if they did have a club, but Rico was not involved. Expecting that, I stayed in my seat as everyone ran out into the hallway. Sadako was one of those who dashed out. She was flying headlong towards the entrance, jostling the kids her age. Toshi left too, falling behind her. Mion and Rena talked to each other as they got ready to leave. As far as it looked, we didn't have club. I mean, the club was annoying at times, but I yearned for it so much now. Was there no club in this world? I started to feel lonely. I saw a grin spread across Mion's face before she and Rena approached me. Normally that grin would look gross, but when Mion did it, I didn't feel bad. Our eyes met. Thank goodness. No pranks! Prank! Even this world had the after-school club it was supposed to. Hey, Rikachama. Got a moment before you go home? Meet, is a club? The first time coming to this world, I smiled. I had no idea what was going on in this world, so having all my hopes come true made me very happy for that moment. No, not that. You're on duty tomorrow, right? Here's a logbook. Think club? What, did you want to be my club too, Rika-chan? Meep? I gleaned two things from Mion's few words. One was that I still wasn't a club member. The other was that, even so, the club still existed. But is the right club you're thinking about? Is technically the Demon Club, honestly? For me, right now, that was an incredibly happy thought. Then, Rika Furude, I hereby grant you permission to join my club. Mii-chan, you're being weird. Rena laughed like it was a funny joke, but why? Probably didn't actually exist then. But even if you're in the same club, you still can't do club things with us. Why not? I mean, your house and my house in opposite directions, right? Me? Oh. When Mion said her club, she probably meant the club of not having a club. The going home club. Wow, I love that club. Yeah, my god. And she must have been saying we went home different directions, which is why I couldn't do club activities going home together with her. In other words, the club doesn't exist in this world either. This whole world truly is filled with demons. Even more dastardly demons before. Mii-chan, can we have club activities with Rika-chan once in a while? We go in opposite directions. Maybe it's okay from time to time. Maybe. After I realized I had to go home alone, Rena said she'd leave school with me. That kind of consideration was just like the Rena I knew so well. We didn't have club, but me and Rena were still Mion and Rena. Sorry, but I have to pass. I gotta get back quick from my job at my uncle's place. Is it a toy shop, or literally was the whole thing of like I haven't seen people like discuss the entire thing of who was who in the Wanted Higurashi chapter. Was that actually Mion like first met actually? Because even now, like I'm still confused about that. Because again, I'm still like both weirdly proud, but also feels it's a weird thing that when the very second it got serious with who Mion or Shion was, like I fully believed that it was Mion, but technically it was Shion, but at the very end it was like showcased that they technically swapped names as well, even when they were kids. So it's a gut feeling or just being completely duped. I don't know. Make your decision, honestly. But, huh. I'm wondering if was it actually Mion at Angel Mort, honestly, when Keiichi met or not? It probably is, honestly. Just remember, she acted like that. Honestly, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think she only acted like that just from what we know of her so far, unless like it's the whole thing again of the whole thing again of like Shion and Mion have like similar crushes, honestly. So maybe there's that, but that makes it even more confusing to think about. Oh, then Rika-chan and I will have our at school going home club. The after school going home club, abbreviated AGH. Okay. Thank you, Rena. Mm-hmm. The three of us headed for the entrance. Our outdoor shoes were the only ones left. There are fewer slippers here than I remember. Yes, I decided to casually naturally mention it. Renner responded right away. It's lonely, but what can we do? As they say, you gotta look for a nice big tree when you seek shelter. Anyway, sorry about this, but I'm gonna get going. I'll leave Rika-chan's escort to you, Reina. Oh, the I. Actually, is it like Renia? Renina? I can't. Like, the I is going to be pronounced E. Like, again, god damn it. I'm trying to, like, my best to figure out how to do pronunciations. I'm getting stuck here again. Literally, Reina's name is like just the one thing I still can't get after all this time. After all this time. I'm trying. If they're gonna go back with that name, then Reina it is. Ray? No? Yes? What is it? I was wondering if I'm the same exact did you actually well, that's the big question here then. Did Reina ever move away in this world? Depending on that answer, that would explain a lot. Whether she actually went and moved away from her parents decided to go to a better like a designer company, and like the whole thing happening with him the mom cheating on Reina's dad and all that, and the whole getting rid of that I syllable like from her name, or literally that never happened and she always stayed here. Nothing. Reina was the kind Reina I knew, but her name wasn't Reina. Her nickname is they still go with Rena, but Reina. That was Rena's real name, but in the worlds I knew, she'd thrown it aside. Which meant she hadn't given up on being Reina? Or her path leading to today was different from the one the worlds I knew. Which is like it's gonna be a fun day to like just for Rika just do mental just step backs honestly from all this different bits of sudden information. Oh boy. I knew Rena hated herself because she considered herself responsible for her mother's divorce. And as she messed up both her life and herself, she would decide to part ways with that old self, start over, and rename herself Rena. But that didn't happen? I mean, that wasn't the only thing I learned from this conversation either. Regarding the number of people in this class, when I mentioned there weren't many people, they acted like there was a reason. That meant the current number of students in this world hadn't been that way from the start. It had decreased this number.
Another question, is this school, like, still part of the forestry service?
Mion ran off, and Rena and I left school together. I'm actually kind of curious of like how it changed things.
This school actually looks exactly the same, but the forestry service, like, office or moved somewhere else. Or, because, like, it only comes up once or twice, and actually thinking about this now, I'm actually still debating my brain whether I'm in the third installment, the Higurashi, where Keiichi came here to make the phone call into the school. I'm still debating whether or not literally Takano literally help with that along, just to smooth things out. So Keiichi and like as well would be there. So there'd be like less of a trace, like, track down it was Keiichi did it, and less evidence to throw off the trail, honestly. Or literally that was just purely coincidence. Because to me, it feels like it's, I don't know, it kind of feels better if it was just pure coincidence, honestly, to me. I don't know if we had a description of who that person, that worker was, but I'm wouldn't the forestry service and the Okonomiya gardeners like look different? Like gardeners we know of like wear like gray jumpsuits and stuff like that. So don't think were we ever described what the forestry service, I guess, outfits look like, or if they even wear outfits at all. So, huh? Hmm. When we went across the schoolyard, I saw Sadako fooling around playing tag. Are you looking at Sadako-chan? Meep. Her name was different, but he still picked up on these things quickly. I'm sure Sadako-chan wasn't trying to be mean when she hit you with the ball. Give her, okay? I don't really mind. Rena... No. Rena seemed to be trying to smooth it over. It kind of sounded like Sadako and I weren't normally friendly with one another. So I asked, are Sadako and I not friends? Well, of course you are. You're both in the same class. Okay, just the fact you add that on explains, gives the entire story. The way she said that was enough of an answer. Yeah. Now I knew why Sadako acted so coldly to me in the nurse's office. In this world, Sadako and I weren't friends. Maybe that made sense. After all, if Satoshi was alive and well, then Sadako would spend all her time with him. The reason Sadako and I got to the point we call close was because Sadako ended up all alone. I asked her to stay at my house, and we started living together. I mean, of course, we were friends before that too, just nowhere near how close we were in 1983. So, you just never actually hit it off any place in this world. Whether this Rika was too shy to talk or just never really clicked together. Maybe in the end, our relationship was nothing more than just me sitting Satoshi's empty seat. When I thought about that, I considered what would happen if Satoshi was around in June 1983. Maybe this was the most natural future. That's gotta be so depressing to think about. Again, oh good god. Like, if this is meant to be, I guess, the one normal true fate, and it was either going through this all again, like just do this where nothing really bad happens, but everyone is so jointly like less connected with each other, or literally just immense amounts of horror and pain, but I guess a stronger sense of unity. That's a weird give and take to have. With regretful eyes, I watched as Sadako frolicked about. Sadako looked like she was having a lot of fun with her other classmates. She wouldn't ever notice me going home from school. No, I'm gonna stop thinking about it so much. Before the true world I need to reach, this world is all but a defective one. I don't need to bother trying to understand a broken world. And that's a way to phrase it, but I still think every world is still equally valid. There's a lot less stores open too. We went through downtown,
while stores their shutters down, Reina spoke up. I didn't care about this world anymore, but as a classmate going home with her, I answered unconsciously. I wonder why so many closed up. Well, it only makes sense. They can only do business until next year anyway. We're getting less and less customers too. So this is becoming a ghost town in another sense anyway. Not strange that some would want to close up shop early. Why won't they do business after next year? They can't. They're getting evicted. Evicted? It sucks. There's nothing we can do. The other village sinks. It won't destroy our souls, the ones that belong here. I gave a start when I heard that. Yep, she never moved away from the sound of that, just in that line. I couldn't... No. It was possible. Every single world, the story of Hinamizawa being submerged under an artificial lake was always present. Oh, this is where the damn product still happens, and it was pushed through, yay. But the Eerie Institute, working for the shadows, would make sure the damn product was cancelled. Okay. But there was no Eerie Institute around to make them cancel it. That meant the damn product was proceeding as planned, and I don't even know if, like them interfering with the governmental stuff actually even mattered by that point, because from the sound of it, literally, I think depressingly enough, thinking about that, if the Eerie Institute, like, was still, like, if the murder, like, let's just say, coincidentally, that the foreman's murder never happened, but it took so long for it to happen, and even when their plan, I guess, for every single installment, like, came away, they had to do a lot of manipulation, and, like, it had to go exactly their plan, and they were getting a lot of resistance back and forth. I'm wondering if that never happened, would they still have? It'll take longer, sure, but then if they already had a set plan of when to make the damn product and when everyone already had to push everyone out, then would they even, again, still have time? The same thing I've done before. Would they even have time to make a plan? And if they need it so much, then they would just have to either take desperate measures or just concede. It's only one of those two. And for the sound of it, they decide not to. Unless they actually solve the Hinamizawa syndrome here, then which from the sound of it actually, yeah, it sounds like they actually did solve it and cure it all, then they don't really worry about that. It just comes to new, different economic problems, just people being displaced from their hometown, honestly. Just the fact that they're forcibly have to find new jobs, or, like, you know, a new living situation just a few years from then. I'll explain why Keiichi wanna move here as well, like, you know, including the dad. Like, why make a giant mansion manor, honestly, if they know it's gonna be destroyed, like the whole town is gonna be destroyed in 2 years. It'd be a giant waste of money anyway then, huh? If there was no Eerie Institute around to make them cancel it, that meant the damn product was proceeding as planned, and then the dam will... I heard they decided to flood this area next year. I think it'll take quite a few days to submerge, but I don't really want to watch. Maybe after it's all a lake, but watching it go under would be sad. Wasn't anyone opposed to it? I mean, at first there were, but we can't be selfish when it comes to helping the nation grow. I don't really understand, but apparently the government people were really nice and talked to us a lot about it. Okay, nope, just in the sound of that, instead, Hinamizawa syndrome actually was cured. So, yeah. Unless literally, the government employed, I guess, were actually way more nicer than, what we've seen here. It's either one of those two things. Like, they managed to actually strike at the core of what we're talking about, or just everyone did not get stressed from the HS. So, wow. The damn conflict I was hearing from Reina wasn't even a conflict in this world. Everything around the dam was completely different from the worlds I knew. They proposed the Hinamizawa Dam product, which was the same as the worlds I knew. Relations between the nation, who wanted to evict us, and the residents, who refused, gradually worsened, eventually broke down. It snowballed into a dire conflict over the dam. And this world has been very different from the very beginning. First off, relations between the country and the village were stormy at the very, very beginning. But apparently that was resolved quickly. The Sonozaki and the Kamiyoshi families negotiated on the village's behalf. and they accepted the eviction and promised a large sum of compensation money.
I'm just now even more wondering about, well, if Mion is here, then Shion definitely exists too, honestly. Unless they're doing this whole thing again of weird genetics and all that stuff. Like Mion is the same thing. Like Mion still exists, even though her parents are technically different. That means the Yakuza branch is still here, honestly. It still would be here. So,
After that, the conversation was between the three families and the villagers. Nobody wanted to part with the soul of their ancestors, of course. But for the villagers, who certainly couldn't be called wealthy, the money the nation would provide was no trivial matter. Do they have, like, the government in the normal world actually, the normal 8 installments, like, give, like, less money, or, like, it's literally the exact same money? If it was the exact same amount of money, then wow, actually. Huh. They worded over to no end. Rumors flew about, wondering if Oyashiro-sama's curse befall them when they abandoned these lands. But the Furude family head, my father, in other words, declared we couldn't be cursed. We built Oyashiro-sama a new shrine somewhere else and remembered to honor him. Despite many objections, the elderly agreed on a cooling-off period of several years. In addition to the compensation money, they demanded from the government the movement of Furude Shrine, the graveyard, and symbolic trees. In addition to the guarantee of a new place they should call Hinamizawa Neo, or just New Hinamizawa, New Neo Old Tokyo. And if those requests were fulfilled, they would consider agreeing to the eviction.
That's actually kind of like a nice negotiation then.
The nation consented to this. They proposed preferential occupation rights of reclaimed public housing land in Shishibone. With regards to giving the town a new name, they considered the residents' proposal as most important. They consented to the movement of the shrine, graveyard, and other locations as well. Wow. Huh. In conclusion, though there were several years of turmoil, the dam conflict never happened in this world. Everything resolved through talking alone. And the villagers had actually agreed to the dam project.
I can see this is actually also Ryukichi's, I guess, way of explaining Himatsubushi, the 4th installment, actually, with I guess the Hinamizawa syndrome then, I guess. I guess is a way to put it then, so, as long as not that big amount of stress, then people can really just talk it out. Or, I'm still just trying to figure out if there's any big differences that we know from this installment to the last one, just to compare and contrast to see if anything is different, just again, the whole thing, just figuring out that Hinamizawa syndrome was cured or not, because that'd be probably the biggest contender here, although it's more likely than not that it's been completely cured and eradicated. Or not really eradicated, but still being, I guess, kind of researched on in secret. Actual construction of the dam had begun a few years ago, and apparently construction vehicles were a constant source of traffic on the village's wider roads. And the eviction deadline was set at the end of April next year, so more than a few families began moving out in advance. One closed shop's shutter had a worn paper notice on it. On it was written, "Our deepest gratitude for your many years of patronage." I spot a few other notices with opposed to the dam on them, but those had deteriorated over time. A solid indication that the dam war was a thing of the past now. I don't think all the kids in the class are moving into the public housing. I like what Sean's family is supposedly moving somewhere else. It's a little lonely to think we won't be able to see all our friends after next year. Meep. The village I was born and grew up in being submerged was very sad. But all my classmates enjoying this day to the fullest, even though they knew that. It seemed so strong to me. At least that never went away. You know, everyone's, I guess, relationships are a bit mixed up and different here, honestly, in comparison. And if the dam war never took place, that would cause several other effects. For example, the relationship between the Sonozaki and the Hojo families. At the beginning of the dam conflict, the Hojos declared themselves in favor of the dam, while the Sonozaki's in opposition. The former ended up a scapegoat of the village for a long time. Think about that then, actually. Unless like something like another coincidental circumstances that happened, like just like in Miyakashi, then Shion probably never would have interacted with Satoshi then.
and then that would never happen either. So, huh. I mean, maybe Mion, like, had some feelings, but, like, she's clearly not really acting on them anyway. It's the whole thing, like, they have similar tastes they mentioned before, but, like, I guess not to that great extent. That trouble never occurred in this world. It's again the whole thing of, like, bonding or just, I guess clicking a certain way. Almost like, or just, like, being just normal friends, or honestly, just, I guess, being through so much, like, you know, I guess relating to someone else who'd been through something similar to you, then it's causing all this. So many different things all going away. It actually kind of feels even sadder thinking about it from that way, honestly. Which when I ever read through, like, any other kinds of, like, these kind of time loop stories, like, it's or at least, like, in, like, and, like, more choice-based stuff, and, certain endings were different. And, like, there was a few endings which I thought were happier, but still had a tinge of bittersweetness. And there were ones where, technically, it felt like everything went to plan, but it still felt a bit, I guess in a weird way, almost hollow. At the very least, just, you know, dampened a bit. Which I guess this would be classified as. Where things technically perfectly went to plan, with maybe one or two small hiccups. But generally, more people are happy. But still, it feels not exactly off, but almost wrong the same way Rika said it before. Which I imagine, like, probably a lot of people, like, probably think of that. Like, for some games on multiple endings. Doesn't even matter if, like, technically, like, some endings were canon or not. Just, whether it just ended badly or not, or just, you know, had more emphasis put on them. Oh boy. Oh boy. Sadako-chan's family? I don't know. I think they're normal. I don't think they have much particularly in common with Mi-chan's family. Does Sadako get along with her family? Oh, you mean her father? You know that the dam conflict, the presence of a stepfather would be a burden on Sadako's mind. I mean, it's been a few years, and honestly, of that, and not much has changed. Like, if the entire thing with the Hinamizawa syndrome, like, didn't take over Sadako's, you know, brain with the stress of happening with the dam itself, and the oppression, honestly, and discrimination because of the dam conflict itself, then probably actually get along nicer. And with the L5 symptoms appearing, she would push him from the viewing platform to the park, and be given to the care of her malicious aunt and uncle. Because her stepfather's presence would be the very gateway to Sadako's later unfortunate fate. I mean, when I think about it now, maybe their awkwardness with each other first made for a good memory. They aren't connected by blood, so they tried hard to be father and daughter. And maybe now they have a stronger bond than she would with her biological parents. Yeah, it's that whole thing again. Just, again, bonding together, just from different circumstances, honestly. Oh, good gosh. Good gosh. I've talked to them a bunch of times, but he's a good person that works hard to support his family. You mean Sadako's current father? Yep. Which meant, in this world, none of the dice threatening Sadako would come up on a 1. Oh, it's actually her normal, actual father? Or, like, is it the stepfather still? Which, it was either way, honestly. Oh, boy. It was really just her own normal dad, then. Wow. It's normal stepdad, then. Huh. They got over that awkwardness. Like, no, they've mentioned it before, like, the awkwardness then before, so yeah. It's her stepdad, so. Huh. But Sadako, did that make this world a happy place for her? My walk home with Reina was very significant for me understanding this world. I found out that this world's composition betrayed every last bit of my common sense. Yeah, it's like a... Oh, good god, that's gonna be a lot to take in and, like, reason out, honestly. Where they decide to stay, like, whether I'm, That goes to the, again, then I'm a giant question of whether it's good to stay here, or just, take, I guess, the experience you take with you, or just, go back to, all struggles you had before, honestly, and live like that, because you can actually connect with that. You can actually talk about it, and oh god, it must be even worse if, like, someone decides to stay here and actually tries to make the most of it. But they still feel a bit disconnected from the entire world just because none of the things you have ever experienced never really technically happened. And oh boy, that's gonna be another entire thing where they almost be at arm's length, or you other people put you at arm's length because of the things you talk about, which they know never happened before, or you kind of overstep like some weird relationship boundaries. Honestly, where you're not that close to them, you're just acquaintances, or like you're just friends. You're not that close. You're not like they're not in a relationship with you or anything like that. You're just there together in the same room. And not much else. That's gotta be, oh good god, that's like hell on earth in some cases then. Oh good god. The reason Reina wasn't Rena was different from the very start. Yeah, it's like, I'm assuming this is still her own house then. Like, oh good god, like just like, that thing is even times of just like when I'm just thinking about these kind of stories, honestly, it actually made me actually goddamn I think cry in most cases. Just like this giant thing of like here's a normal instance of everything going right, and then all of a sudden like not in a sense of like things slowly turn bad, but like honestly on a dime, snap, everything goes completely opposite of what happened. And it still makes sense, but like still it's a jolt to the senses then. And then when things go back to how they used to be, you're changed now. Like something has now just been instilled with you that you can't really get rid of or easily forget. Good god, it makes me somber up the more I think about those kind of stories, honestly. Good god. Actually, I think it made me cry once or twice, honestly. There's even one, yeah, oh good god. Yeah, I even echo this, like I think what like it tackles that kind of thing too. Just the multiple endings are very different, honestly, and I think just from how different they are, honestly, makes me just cry because again, like how Higurashi takes of the tragedy happens there, just with like maybe like one or two things ended happily, or at least more bittersweet way than others, honestly, depending on how you look at it, subjectively speaking. That oh good god, it took so much to get to this one ending. But in equally other worlds, many others, something better could have happened, or something worse could have happened, or something equally as tragic, or equally as, heartwarming, but something slightly different happened. That could change your view on how the world looks for all time, honestly. Oh, good god. Oh, good god. I am really looking forward to going through that. Oh, good god. And just becoming sad all over again. First, the Ryugu family didn't move to Ibaraki. They had lived in Hinamizawa this entire time. Her mother was still working as a designer at a small company in the city. Her father had switched careers, and now he was a salesman for his wife's designs. Oh, nice. He just swapped over to that job quickly, honestly. Well, it actually would work so well for him, actually. He already has some experience with him making, like, design work, honestly. He swapped over to him, he'd have a good eye for it, and putting it over to him, help sell it to others then. That actually is, oh wow, that's actually a nice, a different career change actually for him. Wow, nice actually. I commend him. The couple must have been in good terms for one to design things, the other to sell them. As always, her mother's position seemed to be stronger, but the relationship was an average one, and divorce at the very least seemed impossible, unless something else comes up, which I doubt it from this circumstance. That meant a nice, peaceful family for Reina. That satisfied her fully, and she even said that she lived a happy life. Which, oh gosh, again, like, what was that? I remember seeing someone just saying, like, like, Reina's also, like, ever since that happened with her own mom, like, she's, like, it seems some people, like, relate to Reina herself, just, where a lot of misfortunate things happen, or, like, things spiral, then it becomes a whole thing of just, becoming a person to, I guess, almost a fake it till you make it type, which technically Reina did before the curse year happened again. And, she pretends to be completely all smiles, and it does work a bit. And, like, even, like, when you're just faking and putting an act, it slowly just becomes, like, a part of the new you, honestly. You actually might feel like you're actually becoming happier, honestly. Just putting all that effort out into there. Oh boy. Oh boy, I'm thinking just everything that happened with them, knowing of her now, and even, like, connecting with, little bits and pieces from, their installments, yeah, I'm warming up to her and Mion more. I'm probably warmed up to Reina probably a bit more. Probably just because the new Swaparoo, learning about, the whole Mion Shion thing, there's a lot of different things for me to contend with, to learn about
figure out with Mia, because my empathy and all that, like, well, empathy, like, sympathy and understanding is still with Shion a tiny bit more. Even still. Like, my gosh. I still need to, like, get more warmed up and used to Mion a bit, even though she's fine as is. And that satisfied her fully, and she even said that she lived a happy life. The fact that she knew that without going through hardships, though, she really was still Rena. I asked about the Takano clinic, too. It was as the big Dr. Yamamoto said. The Takano clinic was indeed the one who had been Mio Takano's adopted grandfather, Hifumi Takano. Right after the war, he built a surprisingly grand clinic in Hinamizawa, probably with him, oh gosh, I'm forgetting him, that other guy's name. Oh, like him, the one that Mio, like, called him, I guess her other uncle, honestly, or other grandfather, honestly. I wonder if they actually helped a lot bit too, and actually got in touch even sooner, actually. Huh. Well, maybe from that help they did it sooner. Or people just, the government actually took it way more seriously. Or actually put that idea out there before, he decided to wait and to develop it more. Which had no doctors and became a celebrity to the villagers. I learned that there was a monument dedicated to Takano that placed the one dedicated to the Irie in the world as I knew. After Takano's passing, there was nobody to succeed his place in the clinic, and for a long time it had been left empty. That was when a man from Okonomiya named Yamamoto arrived and breathed new life into the clinic. So technically just became the new director of sorts then. At the very least, one of the, I guess, normal middle-of-the-road hierarchy doctors to them, just inspire the rest of them. Takano discovered that Hinamizawa sent him in search for research sponsors, but found none. And eventually, Mio Takano would succeed him. But what if the older Takano had found a sponsor? Yeah. Neither Mio Takano nor Irie would appear, and the Takano clinic being built right after the war would make sense. Which meant that Takano, in this world, had been blessed with good dice rolls. At this point, I had a vague idea about something. Weren't these dice rolls the exact opposite of the ones of the world I knew well? Yep. You're being presented the exact opposite of how your world went, honestly. The people themselves hadn't changed at all. The dice gotta cast for these people were all reversed. Yeah. Like, it's really just the settings and circumstances that changed, not the people themselves, honestly. So, I'm still curious then about why I'm, I guess, well, Hanyo, I guess, technically speaking, well, I'm curious now. Wouldn't Hanyo, I guess, talk to her then? Because, you know, the whole thing about loneliness and all that? Or, like, does that mean even still, like, this world is so different then, actually, than the world is so exactly different. And even, like, what happened years ago, like, Hanyo sacrificing her, like, herself, like, by, her own, like, a kid, I think daughter was? And then all that never really happened. She's not really a, you know, benevolent spirit anymore. And, actually, this is one thing, like, I'm probably forgetting the smaller details from it, actually, because it's literally just the last installment. Like, was it just Hanyo who, like, I guess integrating the village, or was it a bunch of other demons, honestly? Because I kind of hope it's the other part, because that's an even more intriguing thing for his conflict and all that, but yeah. Was it really just them? Was it really just her? And, like, after, like, she was sacrificed, they decide to, yeah, the whole scapegoat thing happened, that the rest of, I guess, demons are quote-unquote monsters, or whatever you, like, they want to call them, like, you know, except in the village, at least, you know, more tolerated then. So, kind of hope it's for that, though. In the, I guess, the original 8 installments, then, for that world, honestly. There's already enough heartbreak as it is. Want to have something a bit more happier still. Even if it's just bittersweet. The people themselves hadn't changed at all. The dice God had cast for these people were all reversed. So it made sense that it had turned into such a strange world for me. I learned one more thing from talking to Reina too. In this world, I had no friends. I was all alone. Keiichi never transferred to our school, we didn't have a club, and Sadako had no connection to me. So maybe it was only natural. At that point, I finally realized why Reina had sympathized with me going home alone and done her going home club activities with me. I'm just wondering if, like, this is the most socially active that this Rika honestly has ever been before. It's not even really
this world's Rika anymore, so... Oh. Oh, and I don't think we ever got this kind of variation for this walk. It's actually been so long since we've seen this background before. Wow. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Oh, I see. For a moment, I was confused when she said goodbye, since we weren't in front of the temple. But I quickly understood. We were in front of the Fruity main house. Since the Kana never appeared, there was no Irie Institute, nor any research into the Hinamizawa syndrome. And so my parents never died. Are you sure there was no research into the Hinamizawa syndrome? At first, my parents cooperated with the researchers, but when I fell ill with a high fever one day, they stopped cooperating and had some kind of trouble and were assassinated. My mother was the hysterical type. When she made a fuss, settling her down took a while. Because she made a fuss, the Irie Institute, which wanted to do its research in secret, naturally wanted to make sure she didn't talk. She held such an attitude even knowing how shady the Institute was. So in a sense, I couldn't deny that she reaped what she sowed. I guess, yeah, technically speaking, yeah. In any case, no matter how many times I did this over, no matter how many times I warned her, it never worked. And I resigned myself to the fact that I no longer had parents by 1981. And I repeated it many times. Like, yeah, That's probably, like, even that's also there to explain why she's, like, bringing up different things, like, how many different ways she tried to bring things up, honestly. Because, like, it's still always really interesting to hear just the ways Rika tried to change her fate, but it's still ended up, end up the same, honestly, because I still do like the image in my brain that, like, it's the, like, people still have free will, but it's based on their own choices, and based on their own personalities, not from some outside force, which yeah, I guess, like, it's more optimistic, but still leads down to, if everyone's, like, circumstances come down to a single thing, honestly, nothing really influences them, then there would probably just be one choice everyone would make, like, depending on if that same circumstance appeared in every single universe. There wouldn't really be, like, alternate universes then, I guess if you think about it that way, because everyone would make the exact same choice no matter what. Unless, the whole thing of, like, if quantum physics, like, comes into play, honestly. But I still do like that version of free will, where it's the person's choice, and it's only their personality that locks them into one choice, because that's what they always would have chose. I like that way much more than just, than the whole thing is just, weird, just, I guess it goes along with the idea of, like, it's our brains, like, I guess, programming our code, if you're, like, trying to continue, like, kind of that more sci-fi or just robotic sense. I like that idea better than, the whole Feigned Destiny idea that, Higurashi presents so much more. It's way much more, I guess the better way to put it is more comforting, in my opinion, which I guess this is what it all comes down to, just comfort, honestly. Ugh. I can't believe this all comes down to that. Unless there's something else more which I can think of right now. My gosh. And I repeated it many times. I seen my parents for dozens of years in total, so I was fed up with them. We weren't on good terms to begin with anyway. Not even your dad. And now, in June 1983, they were here again. I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye. Goodbye. Napa, Hoshi. After seeing Reina off, I looked at my real home. I saw my mother patting out a dried futon in the yard, getting prepared from the Wantagaki festival that ended a few weeks ago. In normal worlds, they would always die, but in this one, they were alive the whole time. I found myself unsure of how to talk to my real mother. Oh. Is that you, Rika? I wonder if you actually have changed, or, like, the relationship is a tiny bit better than what we've seen in the Himatsubushi's tips, honestly. I hope to God it's way better than that one. Which, if Hanya never technically speak to this Rika before, then maybe it's a bit better, actually. Maybe so, actually. Oh, that's also a bit depressing, actually, thinking about it that way. Welcome home. Meep. I'm home. Go wash your hands and rinse out your mouth. And then get your books ready for tomorrow. Did you get any homework? Yes, she was my mother, all right. You gotta do this, you gotta do that, we gotta do all that! Honestly speaking, I wasn't used to the Freddy main house. At this point, I'm just so much more used to him. Yeah, the storage shed, which actually thinking about it, probably because, like, Hanya's, I guess, waning, I guess, belief, like, changing things, or just because, spiritual power and stuff like that. Probably just more, you're probably just way much more used to just the storage shed than anything else. And probably everything that happened before your parents' death just started blending together, honestly. That or just, you just blocked it out if your mom definitely did get hysterical based on what happened with them. Yeah, with that, like you just repressed it, just like blocked it out, just like maybe got a bit depressed because you can't change it then. Oh god. Oh good god. Ugh. Honestly speaking, I wasn't used to the Fruity main house. It was my true home, but it had only ever been my home before 1983. Like a prison of time, I waited in melancholy for the day Keiichi transferred here. The Keiichi wouldn't transfer here, and my parents wouldn't die. But in this world, I would never get out of this prison. But maybe that's a weird way to think about it. Without a dead-end fate, there was no victory or defeat, no destiny or miracles. Just boring, same old monotony, just day to day. This was my actual home. There's nothing more and nothing less. Oh, is this background? I went to my room, put down my book bag, and took a breath. Usually when I was by myself, Hanya would appear, but in this world, she hadn't shown up. And this Rika was always this alone. She didn't really have anyone else to talk to, and I guess like bounce off, I guess get rid of that loneliness together. Ah, good god. Just bittersweetness like everywhere here in this entire scenario, honestly. Everywhere. Complete bittersweetness. It's a weird feeling. Partway comfortable for me anyway, and just other way a bit more so sad. I'm like I'm very used to more like angst here, just like that whole bittersweet feelings, honestly, in storytelling and all that. Like most of the stuff I've written like falls in the camp anyway. So yep, yep. How long are you planning on wasting time? Hurry up and appear, Hanyo, and take me back to my original world. I knew by now this world was odd and filled with what ifs. I'd have to hear with my exploration of this alternate universe. But Hanya didn't appear. Oh, that's right. Hanya was by herself in the ritual storehouse a lot. Maybe she was there right now. Oh boy. In any case, whatever else happened, I just wanted to see Hanyo. I put my shoes and ran out towards the shrine. As I turned my back, my annoying mother called after me, asking if I really rinsed out my mouth. In a world where my father was alive, it was hard to get the key to the storehouse. But thanks to the innumerable worlds I've been through, I found a way to get into the storehouse without it. Time to go through the second floor, and I'm the same way thought I went through, and I've broken the arm of that statue again. God damn it. I could hear the elders having a pleasant talk in the assembly hall. My father's laughs mixed in with theirs. My father hated me even going near the Richard storehouse. Well, considering what it stored, I could understand why he wouldn't want to let his beloved daughter inside of it. Well, not this young. Unless somebody you grow up to be probably morbid learning about it, just like Takana seemed to have. Man, it's also been so long since I've seen anything about this exact frame. Again, the whole thing of him when it was all just the town residents' fault, honestly. That's everyone's hatred of him anyone who broke the rules and stepping in and taking people out, honestly, whether they're outsiders or not. Like, oh boy. I remember that old feeling of like theorizing, honestly. And probably for some people, like I'm just going through the entirety of the game, knowing everything the fact, must be a feeling almost long forgotten, or just going through everything all over again. Just that feeling of almost simplicity, where things are just, you know, instead of baseline and just sort of building up walls and posts and stacks up to make something more and more like leveled, more complex as the floors go on and the house is built. Man, feels that way going through like older games and other like series I got into, like Phoenix Wright, honestly. Man, it almost feels unrecognizable to like see like how the first game like was with them like again with the same writer like trying to get him get a sort of like as understanding as a foothold into how to present like, you know, a series, just how a story is before they get into a natural flow. At the very least, try something new. This always has that weird, but also comforting feeling, honestly. My climb didn't go as smoothly as when Sadako had shown me she could do it. In any case, I crawled up stubbornly and jumped down into the storehouse roof. Time to dive bomb into the window. I was a little scared of jumping. I climbed pretty high off the ground. Even a centenarian which can't escape the danger of heights. Centenarian? Which I do not know what centenarian means. If I recalled right, there was a broken lattice window in the roof, and you could get in and out through there. This world was portraying all my expectations and giving me the exact opposite. I considered that maybe you couldn't go in and out of it through it anymore. The place Sadako once told me about, it was broken just like she said, and a child would be able to fit inside. Even trivial things like this were a relief. Maybe just the sun setting in the west would be a relief for me right now. Did Sadako mention when she did that? Was it before all the, I guess, the dam products happened, or I wonder what happened between the curse, honestly? Because in this world, it could always set in the east. Yes, this comfort I felt at having to doubt everything made me feel dizzy and sick. Well, at least the window's open. Hanyo? Hanyo? Are you there? No answer. I was too afraid to call out again. Maybe because if I did, I still wouldn't get an answer. For me, personally, Hanyo not exist in this world was the one dice roll that couldn't happen. Hanyo? Hanyo? Then I felt something I couldn't describe. The presence of someone, but not a person. Something only I could perceive. The presence, Hanyo. But Hanyo always answered me when I called for her. She wasn't now. What did that mean? But she was here. She was. I couldn't help but poking my head through the roof. I climbed down a bundle of hanging chains and entered. Hanyo? Hanyo? Where are you? Answer me! Rika, where are you? This time I heard her for sure. There was no doubt. Hanyo! I'm right here! Where are you? I can't see you at all! Rika, answer me. Hanyo's feeble words implied she was actually the one who couldn't hear my voice. I looked for a place where I could hear her better. Oh, wow. Before I realized it, I went to the altar in front of the holy vessel. Something looked like a small crystal ball was on the altar, and since it giving off a faint light. So, okay, so this is the reversed order then. Hanyo can't talk to Rika, but Rika could see Hanyo? Oh, good god. That was where Hanyo's voice would be coming from. That or just showcasing back the original world. The ball was with the size of a large toy marble. It was seated respectfully in a small cushion, which told me it was no ordinary stone. All these marbles contain one single universe, so don't drop them. Oops, it rolled underneath the couch. I took the crystal ball in my hand and pressed it to my ear. Oh, wow. Rika, if you can hear me, please answer again. Rika. There was no doubt. I was hearing Hanyo's voice in this crystal ball. It sounded like it was searching for me, growing more distant all the while. Quickly, make a response before she lets go of this world. Hanyo! I can hear you, it's me, Rika! I'm right here! Oh, she can't hear. Oh, good God. Rika, I can hear your voice. Where are you? I can't find you. Your voice is so distant, I don't understand. Please, call louder. I'm here! I'm right here! Why can't I hear your voice in this crystal ball? Wait, no. That's not important. I'm right here, right in front of the altar in the storehouse. Hanyo! Hanyo! I can hear your voice. I'm searching for you now. Please don't let go of the fragment. Keep on calling my name. Louder. Oh, these are actual physical sensations of fragments then. I'm here! Hanyo! Come! Hurry! Hanyo! Hanyo! For a while, I kept shouting her name as if I'd gone mad. I was like clinging to a tin can telephone right before the string snapped. If Hanyo's voice caught in the middle, and she left me behind, alone, in the darkness of the storehouse, that was scarier than anything else I could imagine. At that point, what can you even do? The spiritual is like, you can't even contact and do anything spiritual then. So she told me to. I said her name over and over again. Hanyo had been to be searching for me by listening for my voice. I didn't know what her situation was. It seemed Hanyo and I were far away from one another. That we were immeasurably distant. This is way off course than the standard other different worlds. So yeah, probably like that's very far away. Like slingshot is somewhere across let's just say a multiverse, honestly. I feel like that's been almost been used to death, honestly, in current like cinema, honestly, but still, it's probably the best word to use here. And this is still a really cool, like, just little CG for it. I wonder if this thing's gonna appear on the right side then. And as the crystal ball's light strengthened, I knew she's coming closer. Oh good God, actually, what if another ball appears, like she finds another one? It's the same exact Hanyo, like, calling up her name and becomes entire, like, oh good God, that's another entire thing, just figuring out which one is hers. Or, like, if they technically all are hers, then, oh good God, that's another thing worrying. Oh good God. Ugh. And as the crystal ball's light strengthened, I knew she was coming closer. At first, the light I sensed from it had been faint, but now, it was bright as a weak miniature light bulb. I could see it was shining. Mika, what's going on? I can't enter the world you're in. What? What are you saying? I'm the one who needs help here. I don't care how, just come here. Take me out of this world. Mika, please listen carefully. For some reason, your world rejects me. This should be impossible. Wow. Given that she's both a paranormal existence and a deity, I couldn't imagine any situation that would make her anxious enough for her to weakly say, this is impossible. All I could do was keep on wailing half insanely for her to do something. Anything. But I can't do anything. Ugh. This is the first time. This is impossible. Stop acting so miserable and hurry up and do something already! Anything, please! I can't, Rika. Your world is giving up a power that rejects me. If you don't do something about that, there's nothing I can do. Stop saying things that don't make sense. What do you mean a power that rejects you? You're a deity. That can't be. You're right. It can't be. But there is no fragment on this side, so I can't line up the pieces. I don't know how, but the fragment is lost somewhere in your world. Either find a literal fragment, either figure that's like attuned to that spiritually, or actually literally find it somewhere. Fragment? What do you mean? Explain it so I understand. I'll do anything I can from this side. Continue to act so the deranged wouldn't help with anything. Calm down. Calm down. I mean, seriously, oh good God. I can understand desperation, but still. I managed to figure out what Hanyo wanted to say, and now I knew how to eliminate the obstacle. In a situation that escaped me, it seemed like if I didn't do something, Hanyo couldn't appear in front of me. I'm sorry for losing my composure. I'll calm down now, so explain again, please. What on earth is going on? Rika? I don't know why this is, but part of a fragment, which should be in the world of the gods, seems to be lost in the world you're in right now. As an analogy, it's like the key you need to unlock a door being locked inside that room. Wow, that fucking sucks. What the I thought you knew about this stuff. Wait, is this literally just you learning about this stuff, actually?
and this is the latest you retelling all the other installments, honestly. Like, as almost a weird, I guess, a giant, more meta version of Oishi and Akasaka making the fucking Higurashi When They Cry booklet for their world. My god.
Oh hi, I still love the CG. Had a lot of fun just using it for the thunder for the last for the finale for the last installment, honestly. My gosh, which I could go into a small talking about something else right now, but I'll say that for later. What appears as the world to you is called a fragment in the higher dimensions. We've been connecting those fragments like a jigsaw puzzle to walk between worlds. I see. I think I understand the analogy. But what I'm in right now is a fragment, a piece of a jigsaw puzzle. Something happened to the part that connects to the rest, and it won't fit with the puzzles around it, right? That's right. The missing piece always has to be on this side. But now, for some reason, it's on that side instead. And the fragment should be in the world of the gods, but for some reason it fell into the human world, and now it's missing? That's about right. I'm getting reminded again just the conversation that Hanya had with Takano about becoming a god, honestly. Which apparently if you want to be, then you have to technically be sacrificed in a sense, and that lonely sense, honestly, if we take that into consideration for Higurashi's world, oh good god, that's also kind of almost terrifying as well. And that's about right. Like, just be a martyr, you just become a deity then. Oh boy. Alright, I just have to do something about that fragment, right? I'll do what you say. Where is that fragment? And what should I do with that? What does it look like, honestly, is the first question that probably comes to mind. Is this really the time to be eyeing? Where's the fragment thing? What does it look like? I don't know. What? I'm supposed to search for it if you don't know. I don't understand either. From here I can only hear your voice. I can't interfere at all with the world as I am now. But if it's called a fragment, then will it look like a glowing piece of crystal like this? I think that's probably right. But I can't even imagine what shape it would take for something like belong to a higher dimension to end up in the human world. So maybe it's somewhere else in here, or apparently in some of the other three families, like I guess some households maybe. Maybe me on Sonozaki's then, or somewhere that has a bigger importance. Does it feel like if like it's a physical object people can pick up and carry around? Someone in this village like probably found it and like put in a place of reverence. That, or probably weird, like probably even more terrifying enough. Just the amount of legwork and investigation it take to find it. Someone just saw a cool rock and just picked it off of the ground like, ooh, shiny rock, and just took it into their own rock collection. And just some kid has a kid has it somewhere in the little collection in their houses. Somewhere it'd be hard to talk and communicate with. And since Rika is completely lonely, oh good god. Like, she doesn't have a lot of friends here, honestly. Oh boy, that's a lot to do. Oh good god. I felt all my energy drain out of me. And he to sigh. I don't even know what it looks like. This is the worst. Anyway, if I do find it, what would I do? How would I get it back into the world of the gods? You don't even know that? Sorry. It's the first time this has happened. I don't really know either. My next best bet is just to either put next to, I guess, this crystal, or put into place something that has high reverence and, like, spiritual, I guess, significance. That's the next best thing that comes to mind as a possibility. Oh no. I laughed, mostly myself, and before I realized it, I couldn't stop my tears from falling. I get into this crazy world. I don't even know how to get back. Today, of all days. I was such high spirits going to pool with my friends. That tiny fragment of happy days we'd all finally obtained escaping the dead end of June 1983. And just because I was missing on the way back, just a little, I got sent to this horrible world. But if I'm gonna complain about that, in the end, it's my own fault for not being careful on the road, isn't it? I lost my balance on my bicycle, got thrown off, then fell into the car there.
You fell into it? Oh, good God.
A common traffic accident. A common death of a child. Just happened to be me this time. The future I'd wanted for 100 years. Now, just because of that, everything was in pieces. I could wail all I want, but the only thing at fault was my own carelessness. In fact, I should be thankful to Hanya for letting me live. But sending me to a world like this is too cruel.
Probably after all that, like, I feel like it's the most cruel thing you could do, honestly, if this was deliberate.
No, it wasn't as though Hanya sent me here because she wanted to. I know that. I know that for a fact. It's like you remember, Rika. Our power has been wearing away. The last of that power reached our victory. So we're never supposed to be able to use it again. I mean, use that power to save me? Yes, but there was nothing else I could do. Rika, your body flew off the bike, and if the dice had come up better, you might have fallen on the car and made it out injured, but alive.
On the car this time? Oh, wait. Rika's and your memories are completely different here.
But you were unlucky when you flew off, you landed right in front of the car's tires.
Oh, good God, actually.
From Hanya's words come with sadness. I felt like she'd watched me fly off, get run over by the car, and die. Everyone had their mouths wide open. The daze. The car's brakes screech as it crashed into the guardrail, but nobody's listening. And then Sadako turned over to you, but you looked.
I can only imagine if it didn't even look that bad. It would just be like Sonic would just look at Rika just staring up. Like, oh good God, if it was that quick, which I hope it was. Your face was gone. Oh good God.
The car crushed my head flat. Chie was always talking about this, wasn't she? Never to play in the road. I can imagine the rest of the story without Hanya telling me. That fun day we had was wiped out in an instant by my careless fooling around. We dove together into the longest June 19th in 1983 of those past 100 years. The peaceful future we finally reached with the sharing of countless miracles was wiped out in an instant.
Which, oh good God, if they can't go back to the same world again, then that actually makes things worse. So, like, where can you go then instead? Go to somewhere again where the exact same situation happened, the same, like, you know, in fragment, and then continue off from there, and just not do that? And if it was that miraculous to do all that over again, then oh boy. That's just a lot to handle with once again and over again. It was the one thing I feared before, like, if Rika died from old age and everything looped again, but also the same thing but a bit different again. That was one thing I was so worried about. And this is actually kind of worse than that.
My corpse was too horrible to look at. Sadako came running over first, then everyone else came. They all wished they'd wake up from that nightmare. Until they all lost hope, broke down, and wept. Compared to that heart-splitting sadness, no one was actually careless, grumbling about wanting to go home since this world was uncomfortable and counted for nothing. Does that mean, in the end, it was all my own fault? I struggled through so many years to reach that future. I carelessly lost it by nobody's fault but my own. And I was blessed since Hanya was here for me, so I should be thankful. Because if that had happened to someone other than me, they'd just lose their life and nothing more. Just the fact that there was hope, even if there was a single tiny ray, surely meant I was fortunate. Thanks. Huh? Idiots dying accidents from carelessness all the time in Japan. Man, I was one of them. I should have just died without complaints, but thanks to you, even though things have gone strange, I'm alive. I'm sure it would be really, really hard. there is still a way to return to that world. Okay. Let's review. To bring me back to the original world, Hanyo, you need to come here, right? Yes, of course. I'll return to the original world with you, Rika. Naturally. You won that world after over 100 years of struggle. We're going back. I would spend another 100 years to do it. I won't lose. I won't lose heart. Just for fooling around a little on the road and being sentenced to another 100 years. That won't make me cry. Rika. In the world beyond, everyone is praying for you. They're praying that even if it costs them their lives, that you turn back time and make it so the accident never happened. Unless they actually already know what happened? I already know all about that, huh? I think those prayers were wise to be able to find you, Rika. In this storehouse, in which I can only smell dust, I thought I caught the scent of incense. I couldn't see it, couldn't hear it, but somehow I knew. It was my funeral. I thought I could hear them. My friends heartbroken, grieving over my coffin. Their cries were incredibly sad. So sad, so painful, as though it would tear me apart. I understood. My carelessness destroyed not only my life, but everyone else's happiness. God. I'll go back. I'm going back. I'll return to that world no matter what. No matter how narrow that path may be, I'll do it. I'll go back for sure. My tears, filled with sadness mixed with determination, mixed with saltiness, dropped to the floor. Rika, being locked in that world is the same as the dead end in 1983. It may look like an inescapable fate, but you absolutely can't escape it. Just now, there's practically no one here to help and insist I'm in person here this time. It's now just trying to figure out how to get someone from the outside this time to help instead of the inside here. Which, oh boy, that's gonna be something to contend with. I know. Keiichi taught me that. And even Takano taught me that too, in a way. Fate was thinner than a goldfish scooping net. That's a way to put it. And strong enough feelings can reshape the future. That's right, Rika, that's the spirit. Maybe it was because of your carelessness, but you've been given the chance to atone for it and make it go away. That's a really, really lucky thing. I know. Normal people would be starting over in their next lives, but I alone got one last chance. I know what that means. Rika, I want you to somehow find the fragment rejecting me. I'll see if you can figure anything out in this world. I'll have to make do without any hints. Also, as long as you are in this world, if I die here, that's the end, right? Yes, my power doesn't affect the world right now. Please, Rika, be very careful. I know. I'll never fool around the road again. Just don't go to the other side of the road where the cars actually come this way, please. Don't do that. Don't do that at all. You don't have any hints, but I'm this village's deity, and this village is all I've ever watched over. If this power can interfere with me, then I think the power must be in the village too. Somewhere in this village. At least that helps narrow things down so much more, honestly, except to the entire world, or the very vast known of the universe. At least that narrows things so much more down, honestly. If it's anything to do with you, to be honest, I think it'd be in this ritual implement storehouse. Rika, is there anything in that storehouse that isn't in the usual worlds? I don't know. I can't tell right away. Just imagine like the fragment would be like another rock or pebble or something like that, and I guess since it acting as an obstacle, you just have to break it then. But I wouldn't be hesitant to do that first, honestly, in case the breaking actually makes things worse. There's no proof it would be obvious, right? If it's not to interfere with me... Rika, you stood in a place incredibly close to the world of the gods before, so you might be able to sense it. Another thing to worry about. So there's just opposite there's areas in this village where are supremely connected to the gods, to the divine, the spiritual. I don't think anything on this altar, including this crystal ball, has changed at least. But this is a strange crystal ball. It's different than the original world, honestly. I don't think we ever got, I guess, a full entire look into the original storehouse. Besides, it gets a cursory look over when I'm, Shion and Keiichi and Takano and sort of Tomataki actually explored it. Tomataki's outside, but And I think it was only a short bit where Rika showed Takano and Tomataki here, but again, those were both short in the long scheme of things, so nothing comes to mind will be exactly different to look for. It's interesting how, for a mere marble, it's on display in such an important place. Right now, you're holding the Fruity Shrine treasure, the Kamu no Mikoto no Ri. Long ago, I performed a miracle at the Fruity Shrine, and led to there as proof. So, is there another treasure? The other one that was actually mentioned in the last song with the one and only tip? After such a long time, most of the power inside is gone. But lucky for us, it's the only source of power I have that affects you. Does that mean we have to use the sword then that's in the guy inside the statue? If I had more power, or if I could prevail against this, I might have been able to go into the world you're in. Which means I'll only be able to talk to you with this crystal ball for a limited time. Yes. Rika, can you hear my voice? From here, your voice sounds like it's slowly fading away. Oh, good god. Okay, I get it. It's like a transceiver about to run out of battery power. Time to go to a spirit medium or something like that to recharge psychic energy. Alright, I won't contact you unless it's very important. That way we can talk for a little bit longer, right? Probably. Hopefully. And that's enough. I'll rummage around the storehouse for now. It could be hidden anywhere if it's the same size as this crystal ball. And it might not be in the storehouse either. I'm gonna need perseverance for this job. Rika, please, do your best. All I can do is stay here and cheer for you. And even the words I can use for that are limited now. It's fine. Mark my words, I'll open the door to this world and invite you in. Pull you forcibly in. You're coming here. I promise we'll go back to that fun world together. So you do your best too on that side. If you learn anything that could be a clue, tell me. I will. And that's it. I'm gonna stop talking now, okay? See you again, Hanyo. I promise. Once we get back to the last world, I'll fill the refrigerator with cream puffs for you. I'll look forward to that promise. Hanyo's voice suddenly vanished, like water seeping into sand. That didn't mean Hanyo had vanished. It was kind of like I was talking to Hanyo on a public phone and my 10 yen ran out. It may have been different worlds, but we were cooperating, trying to get out of this world and back to the last one. When I thought about it, Hanyo had always been an ally in my life. In this world, that ally was gone. Yep, or technically back to actually even less than square one, honestly. Maybe that was a fitting punishment for wasting my life by being careless. To get back to the last world, I would pile up as many stones as I needed to. Make your own Tower of a Ball, honestly. I thought that was like, when they talked about the Tower of a Ball, that was actually referring to the Library of a Ball, which the whole entire infinite rows of books, which had like infinite combinations of books, which be literally prophecies or just useless information, or like actually the whole entire thing of your life, like any combination you think of. Huh. For these are the banks that were Styx. Nirvana. My viewpoint as one who had lost her life in their previous world. But I'll get back. I swear. I'll get back there. Oh. Okay, well, your parents knew you were screaming here, and they came in here. Oh, good God. Hide the marble immediately. Hide the crystal ball. Keep it. No, at the very least, I'm gonna make sure no one touches it later. Oh my good God. Then suddenly, the inside the storehouse brightened. Someone just turned on the switch of the naked bulb hanging from the ceiling. And then, with a heavy clank, the door opened. My father appeared there. Oh boy. His face was like a demon's. Well, at least that bloodline is still within the entirety of the town then, right? Oh, that was right. I entered this corned off ritual implement storehouse. I only received the right to enter the storehouse and succeeded them as the head of the fruity family. In other words, in a world with my parents alive, I wasn't allowed to come in here.
Rika! How'd you get in here? Teleportation. How many times I told you never to enter the storehouse?
My father was in a rage. A bad day at work? Thanks to the property imprinted into one's very genes that made children tremble when their father looks at them with a scary face. They reflexively cringe with fear. He grabbed me the back of my neck and took me outside. And then, I ended up being disciplined. Something I've forgotten for a very long time. Let's hope it never comes to pass again. Get older. My parents being here is such a bother. That's when I thought I'd been lucky that they made it through the year 1981. They're getting in the way of me returning to the final world.
Who needs parents?
In the storehouse, I've been chanting Hanyo's name pretty loudly, so yeah, you probably noticed. Yeah, most likely.
It's like instead of the light bulb being turned on, pretty much everyone knew about it. Actually, I'm curious, how did everyone in the village knew about Shion and them going to the storehouse? Actually, was it just because of Keiichi just like turning on the light switch, honestly, and really just for a split second, everyone knew like oh, the people are inside there, and then everyone just like noticed they're the only people who weren't around during the con drifting festival, honestly, the whole ritual place. When the con down the stream, that's the only place people would realize, oh, they aren't here. They must be the troublemakers here. Is that literally the reason how everyone knew? That's kind of funny, but god damn it, Keiichi. How dipshit. God damn it.
In the middle of the night, unable to sleep face up in my futon because my rear end swelled up from all the spanking. Oh, yay. That. Put my pillow and cried again. Then thought back of what I had to do. This is my room. This is my futon. But this isn't where I was supposed to sleep. The futon I was supposed to go home to was in the small house on the second floor of the renovated warehouse, the one next to Sadako's. In this world, the youth group was probably still using it as a meeting place. So my futon obviously wouldn't be there. Then, what futon was it supposed to use in this world? Punishment for doing something stupid and careless, bring the future we all won to nothing. Okay. I need to find out what's keeping Hanyo away so I can call her here. That's the best thing we can do. Find the fragment, figure out what you do with it, whether you either break it, destroy it, just, like Lego bricks, just, bring the blue fragment with this other fragment color, which I'm gonna assume is red right now because it's a cool little contrast, and just smash them together, just like try to piece them together like little puzzle pieces like I mentioned before. Like what piece would actually connect to a circular crystal ball though? Well, it has to fit somewhere, so keep trying. I need to find out what's keeping Hanyo away so I can call her here. It'll take a lot of effort. For that reason, I need to build up my energy and get some sleep. Shedding tears was nothing but a waste of time and stamina. I knew that, until I fell asleep. I wept into my pillow. It's gonna be a long day ahead of us. And we'll leave the episode off right there. I would have made this entire segment of a Nice Killing chapter to be all in one video, but honestly, I think I'm gonna slowly go away from making longer and longer videos. Because while this episode is gonna be 2 hours long just from this phase alone, I'm still gonna make good on my promise to make at least for this final epilogue chapter to be in clear, decisive parts. The clear ending point right when things shift over to the next part of the installment. Whether there's more intact of parts or the next area is going to be Rika finding what the other fragment is to give to Hanyo and figuring out a way to get back, or there's more to come. We'll just figure out as it goes on. Because when I go through Human Echo, I'm honestly debating making the episodes way much more shorter, especially since if I do commit to completing every single ending installment, or at least chapter, to be longer than 2 or 3 hours straight, then it would take way longer for those episodes to get out.
Like even just making sure that I feel like everything is of the quality with the ending for like literally the last entire episode to finish off the entirety of the main series of Higurashi. That took almost practically a week or two, just so I can actually take some breaks from recording, and as well just to make sure everything's of the quality, just so my throat doesn't completely die out and I can actually talk a bit more. Which I still do want to ramble at sometimes because it's in my DNA, it's in my DNA. I can't stop it. I won't stop it. But it'll be much shorter going to Yumeneko after this installment is done. And if I do decide to go through the other small scenarios and arcs through Ray, then it'll be down to just an hour, just to make it clarifying, make it clear. Anything longer than 3 hours straight for endings from installments in Yumeneko when we get to it, it'll be cut down to side just to get that little newsletter before it goes on. But we'll go through the rest of the Dice Sling chapter and figure out how Rika managed to get that gosh dang fragment somewhere in the world, all for next time. So, hope fun time watch this as I am playing this. Hope to see you next time, for a time that may be, and I hope you fantastic day.